Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to get you styled up with Stitch Fix. Shopping's hard. It's hard. With Stitch Fix, you get a stylist, though, who understands your style, your size, your budget, and they do all the shopping for you.
Wow.
This is excellent. Shopping, I'm telling you, shopping and figure out your style, it's overwhelming. Let somebody help you when it comes to getting dressed. We don't know what we're doing, so we let Stitch Fix help us out. A Stitch Fix stylist there. They know what works on us. We get the prices that make us look really good, and it feels good. You get some confidence boost walking around knowing that you're looking decent here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we just give the stylist our sizes, style, budget preferences. We order boxes when we want, how we want, no subscription or any of that required. And they send called Just For Me pieces as well. Like, maybe you'd like this, and it's awesome. Outfit recommendations, styling tips. You keep what you love, you send back the rest. It's super easy.
Yep.
You can do it, and we are doing it because it's excellent. Personal styling for everyone. Get started today at stitchfix.com/STM. That's stitchfix.com/STM.
Now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit more about Rocket Money. It's the start of a new year. It's the perfect time to get organized, set your goals, prioritize what matters most. And for me, top priority is getting myself together here. Financial wellness, doing that, which that feels important, you know? Just feels like adult stuff that you have to do. And thanks to Rocket Money, my goals feel achievable now. They show me all my subscriptions in one place, help me easily cancel ones I forgot that I've been paying for, which happened to me. Absolutely happened to me. I had, for years, I was paying for something. I was like, what is going on here? Rocket Money found it and saved me lots of money since then, because it's been a while. So they did a great job here. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all the app's premium features. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/smalltownmurder today. That's rocketmoney.com/smalltownmurder. rocketmoney.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
In the depths of an Atlanta forest, a clash between activists and authorities ends in tragedy. I'm Matthew Scher, and on my new podcast, We Came to the Forest, we expose the hidden truths behind a shootout that left one activist dead and countless lives forever changed. Binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest ad-free on Wondery Plus.
This week, in Trinidad, Colorado, a tempting preacher's wife sets out on a path of love, lust, manipulation, and murder as a trail of dead husbands begins to build up in her wake. Welcome to Small Town Murder. Hello, and welcome to Small Town Murder.
Yay!
Oh, yay indeed, Jimmy. Yay indeed. My name is James Petrogallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I am Jimmy Wissman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us today. We have a crazy, crazy, crazy story. If you are a longtime listener and you remember the Gun Barrel City, Texas Betty Lou Beats story, this has a Betty Lou Beatsy kind of vibe to it, so it's going to be wild stuff. Thank you for joining us. Quickly, before we get started on this insane story, first of all, thank you for all you've done for us.
Truly.
Reviews are helpful. If you haven't done it yet, 5 stars, whatever app you're listening on. Say something nice. We don't care what it is. It's not for our egos. We're not monsters. This is just for the world. It helps drive us up the charts. So thank you for doing that. Head over to shutupandgivememurder.com and get your tickets. Tickets to live shows is what you can do there.
Shit.
Also lots of merchandise, but tickets to live shows. We have next show coming up real soon here, July 15th in New Orleans. Get your tickets. Tickets available for that.
Yeah.
Get them now. And also in August, get your tickets from Milwaukee. There's shows in between, but they're mostly sold out. So get your tickets from Milwaukee. It will be, if you went to the Chicago show, if you're in that area, because they're close, it's going to be a different show than we did in Chicago. Come out there and make it our biggest show. It's the theater. It's at the Pabst. It's a huge place, and it can be
it's a monster.
Make it our biggest show ever, so we can say, people go, what's your biggest show ever? We go, Milwaukee. And you guys are the ones. So thank you for doing that. ShutUpAndGiveMeMurder.com.
The Pabst.
Absolute, the Pabst. And then if you want bonus stuff, first of all, for free, you're obviously going to get Small Town Murder Express every Friday. Right. So that's there. But then also, if you want bonus stuff, we have so much bonus stuff for you. Patreon.com/Crime and Sports is where you get all of that. And if you haven't listened to Crime and Sports, maybe this is the week to give it a shot, because
it should be.
This week's episode was Chris Benoit, the wrestler who, so if you want murder, and it happened in Fayetteville, Georgia, which is a small place. It's small town murder is basically what we did there, and concussions. So get into that. Check that out. But patreon.com/Crime and Sports is where you get the bonus stuff you're going to get every other week. We're going to give you 2 new episodes, and you're going to get the whole back catalog, anybody $5 or above. This week for Crime and Sports, you're going to get, well, it's this crazy wrestler who's insane, and he has a wild conspiracy theory about the Chris Benoit murders, and we're going to talk all about it because it's so crazy it needs to be delved into for an hour. So we're going to do that.
Wait.
Then for Small Town Murder, we're going to talk about an awful man. Oh, my God. He's a high-ranking Canadian, I believe, Air Force officer who is basically Canadian BTK killer. He did awful things. We're going to talk about a little bit about his crimes, obviously. We'll tell you what he did, but we're going to talk about the interrogation that got this guy who was just, I'm the bee's knees in the beginning.
The arrogance on this fucking guy.
And by the end of it, he was like, let me show you where the bodies are.
It's a puddle.
We'll find out what drove someone from that to that, because it's awesome. Yeah. Patreon.com/Crime and Sports is where you get all of that. And a shout out. You will, of course, get a shout out at the end of the show. Jimmy will mispronounce your name terribly, but he's trying hard to get it correct. We promise you. So do that. And that said, disclaimer time very quickly. Yeah. It's a comedy show, everybody. We're comedians. That doesn't mean the show's not real. We don't make up a show to make it funny. That's the crazy part. These are all real facts. That's what's insane about it. All we're doing is pointing out how crazy things are. It's all we have to do. It's very easy. What we go out of our way not to do, though, is we never make fun of the victim or the victim's family.
Why, James?
Because we're assholes. But we're not scumbags. See, that's how that works. So that sounds good to you. Great. If you think true crime and comedy should never go together, I don't know. Maybe you shouldn't listen to a true crime comedy show. That is really hard to say.
Oh boy.
But you might be misconstruing what we're all about. So either way, I think it's time, wherever you are, in your car, in your home, whatever not too public place, you can shout it at the top of your lungs. Let's sit back and shout, shut up and give me murder. Let's do this.
Let's go.
Let's go on a trip, Jimmy, shall we?
We should. We shall. We may.
We can and we are. That's all of them. We're going to Colorado, a place you're familiar with, being so from beautiful. There originally. Yeah. Yes. You're not from here, though. This is Trinidad, Colorado. You know, it's in southern Colorado, down only, I think, within 15 miles of the New Mexico border. So
you got to go through it if you're going anywhere great from the south.
You got to go, oh, wow, we're not there yet. We're not to the good part yet.
Is it near the Four Corners area? Is it
it's in kind of the
central?
It's more central Colorado, right there.
I know I've gone through it, but there's 2 routes to get there from Arizona. You go through the Four Corners, Wolf Creek Pass area, or up the 25, I think it is, that goes straight the fuck up.
Well, so I'll do a little spoiler here. The motto of the town, you're not there yet. So there you go. So anyway, it's a
great country. It's just there's nothing here.
It's 3 hours to Denver. 3 hours and 45 minutes to Albuquerque, so it's almost right in between those two.
God.
4 hours and 15 minutes to Carr, Colorado, which is all the way on the northern border, which was our last Colorado episode 242, which was September of 2021, the first family of serial murder. If you haven't heard that, you should definitely listen to that, because we've never had a traveling serial murder family before. That was wild. This is in Las Animas County, animals without the L. That's how you can do it. Area code 719, and they have another motto. We're all the way down here, but we're still Broncos fans.
Yeah.
So anyway, history of this town. We'll go through it as quick as we can here. 1862 it was founded because coal was discovered in the region.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Not gold, not silver, not tin, coal. We got coal. Imagine rushing somewhere to pull coal out of the ground.
They'd have waited a while, they'd be diamonds.
We're going to wait on them. No,
They're not
like a lunch break for like, I don't know, 30,000 years. We're going to wait. That's what the boss said. I don't know.
They're not done yet. It's
They're
like
not
when you
done.
pull potatoes out and you taste them and you're like, not yet.
Nope, still too stiff. So they did that. A bunch of immigrants came in because they wanted to pull the coal out of the ground. So by the late 1860s, there was 1,200 people here. And it became well known because Bat Masterson was the town marshal for a while.
Is that right?
Yeah, he's an Old West gunfighter.
If you know, Tombstone, James.
Yep, it's Wyatt Earp, Bat Masterson. It's those are the Billy the Kid. These are the famous Old West gunfighters, and he's one of them here. In the early 1900s, it became known for having the first woman sports editor of a newspaper.
Really?
Which, for early night, Ina Eloise Young is her name. Baseball was her main expertise, and she's the only woman sports writer to cover the World Series in 1908. Which
amazing.
Is pretty cool. Yeah, back then that wasn't a thing at all. No. So there wasn't a lot of Linda Cohns running around in 1908. So they had their own semi-professional baseball team that was pretty popular here as well. So baseball was
Trinidad team?
Baseball was big in this town. Back in the day, every small town had a baseball team. A pro team. And the pro team, like major league teams, used to do barnstorming tours across the West where they would play these semi-professional teams. So you might be in Trinidad and Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig would be coming through town to have an exhibition, basically. It was to spread baseball awareness, Yeah. This is before TV or any shit like that. So in 1902, the Bowentown coal mine, which is 6 miles north, experienced, because it's a coal mine, a horrendous gas explosion. Yeah, that happened.
And subsequenting fire.
Killed 13 miners. It was one of the worst mining disasters up till then in the state at that time. And so then there was a bunch of labor strikes and everything like that, because of that. 1904, I love the way this is put in its town history. In 1904, Trinidad experienced several disasters. That's not good. That is not good.
It's literally in the middle of nowhere, man.
There's no help coming. It's fend for yourself time.
Yeah.
In January of that year, a fire destroyed most of the town's business section. And then in September, the area along the river had a heavy rainstorm and there was severe flooding. So then that flooded the Santa Fe Railroad Station. So it burned and then flooded. It's not good.
This area of the country feels like, because it's in Colorado, so you think about mountains. Yeah. But the southern area of Colorado is so flat.
Oh, it's terrible. There's some mountains here.
So much desert.
There's mountains here, though, because it's the beginning of it. This is known as High Times called it Weed Town, USA in 2018. 5.13% of the state's total sales come from this town.
What?
Which has less than 10,000 people in it. So this is
5%.
Yeah, this is people coming from New Mexico. This is where New Mexico buys weed. That should be its motto. Where New Mexico buys its weed. So they call the downtown section the Weed Mall area. That's where that is.
Where New Mexicans trade fireworks for weed.
Yeah, I got fireworks. Well, we got good fucking weed here. Some nice. Tell you what, let's look at the concentrate section. I think you're going to like this. It is, what do we have here? Yeah, it's got all of that, and it's doing well. 23 dispensaries in this small town. That's a lot.
Wow.
That's a shitload. Reviews of this town, not a lot of great ones. There's a lot of bad ones here. Here is 1 star. I've lived here for 8 months, and for someone who has spent time around the country, this is one of the worst towns I've ever been in anywhere. 1 star. That's it. Very simple. One of the worst of all time. Bye. That's not good.
The only good part is that there's that comma, Colorado.
Yep, Colorado. 1 star. I've lived in Trinidad for 18 months, got lied to and screwed everywhere.
Wait, what? Hold on.
Okay. Would not
recommend. That sounds great.
Yeah, well, that everywhere. I can't move without my pants being pulled off.
Somebody trying to fuck me.
That's the difference between men and women right there. To a man, that sounds fantastic. To a woman, that's the most terrifying thing in the world. I'm gonna be for a man. We'd be like, we'll punch the ugly ones off. Like that's in our brain. The ones we consider. If we didn't want to have sex with them, we'd be like, hey, get away from me. I can stiff arm you.
Yeah.
We're not like a drooling trucker coming at you. That's why going, hey, how you doing, little darling? Like that would be. That's frightening. So anyway, got lied to and screwed everywhere I turned. Would not recommend living there. Can't imagine if I had kids. I could not get a job at Walmart to even get by. Now I live in Pueblo, let's just say more normal. All I have from Trinidad is a lean I have to remind me of how crappy that town is every day. Then all capital letters, exclamation point, Trinidad sucks. So, not my words, but definitely somebody's.
Probably a payday loan or something, right?
Or a loan on their trailer. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
2 stars. It's a beautiful place to live. Mountains are surrounding you, fresh air, the scenery. Okay. Yeah. But as a town, there's no businesses here. People are moving out. The schools here are horrible. So,
well, when Pueblo's your respite, it's a problem.
It's a problem. When they're like, now Pueblo, now that's a town. Now that's a town. So 2 stars. Houses are, actually it says house are small and old. Very close together to keep the wind from blowing between them. No yards. Jesus, close together
live in
to keep
the wind wall.
Keep the wind from blowing. If your house is built to defend against wind, you live in a weird place. You need to move from there. That's weird. It's very strange.
Are these winds?
Jesus! If we put the houses too far apart, they blow away. That's the problem. They just go on tumbling down the hill.
Make them almost touch like a brownstone, and now we got it calm down here in the courtyard.
That's the problem. That's why Manhattan's so close in. It's just too windy. No one can. That's all it is. All those buildings are huddling against the wind.
Just a row of brownstones slowing it all down.
Yeah. Here's 1 star. This is the last one here. Quote, been nearly 3 years that I've been here. It's been the most miserable, frustrating time of my life. 1 month after arriving, I gained employment. Shortly after, I was thrown in jail on a protection order I was never made aware of. 8 days! Exclamation point. What? I'd like. There's backstory on the protection order.
Yeah, that's a bad person.
That means he was a protection order against him, and he violated it, and he never knew he had a protection order. That's not how that works. They serve you a protection order. That's the
right. Thing. And what'd you do that got you the protection order?
That's the other thing.
You're very well aware that you did something bad.
Oh my God! Then he goes on to say, "My dog was placed in shelter. When getting out, I lost my job. I'm disabled, and having no transportation or bus system made looking elsewhere difficult." Well, Trinidad does not like outsiders. I've been going through hell. The Trinidad Police Department, crooked and corrupt. They have zero resources. I feel the evil here, as do others I've spoken with. It's not a good place.
That's a bad person.
It's also a bad place when everybody feels the need to have their closing sentence be, just to sum it up, it sucks. So just so you know. People in this town, they seem to agree. 8,127, down 13% since 2020. So
they are running.
In 2 years, it's down 13%. What's going to be left of this place? Like, this is crazy.
Holy shit.
Male-female population is just about normal. Median age, couple years over the national average, but nothing crazy. It's only 40. All the stats are pretty normal. Married, not married, it's about 50-50. Single with no children, same as normal. It's all normal. Race of this town, 41.2% white, which is about 20% less than the national average. 0.2% black. So that's not a lot of black people here. 1.2% Asian, 3% Native American, and 53.1% Hispanic. So it's it's mainly white and Mexican is who's here, you know. Religion. This beats anything in the South, anything in Alabama, even rural backwoods Mississippi. 88.2% of the people here are religious.
What?
88.2% of the people here are religious.
It may as well be everybody.
That's correct. 78% of the people in this town are Catholic.
Is that what?
Our Catholics are the Baptists of the Rocky Mountains, everybody. Now we know that. I didn't know they were, but in this town they are. Wow, that is wild.
78%.
That is incredible. We've never had a stat like that before.
No, I don't think we've ever had 78% of anywhere be Catholic.
I can see it was like 75 people in the town, but there's over 8,000 people here. Like, there's a lot of people.
That's amazing.
0.2% Jewish. In the last election, it was 44% voted Democratic, 54% voted Republican, and a little over 2% voted independent. So there was that. Unemployment rate is high here. It's about 9% right now, which is way higher than the national average. There's literally Walmart and the dispensaries are the only place to fucking work here. Nothing else.
But there's 22 dispensaries. Get a job, man. They're available.
But there's also 200 people. So I don't know. Doesn't seem like there's that a lot. And everyone was complaining, no jobs is the complaint. So it doesn't seem like there's a lot. Median household income here, wow, it is $37,000, which is about $20,000 less than the national average. 54% of households here make $40,000 or less.
Oh.
21.6% make $20,000 or less. So it's yeah, it's out there, man. And in our story, because our story takes place in the 80s, it was a ghost town.
Oh, weed was illegal too.
Yeah, weed was illegal. You didn't have that boom. Cost of living, 100 is average. Here it's 82. Housing is cheap though. Housing median home cost $148,500.
Yeah.
So damn it, we've convinced you that weed is enough for you. You can, you're going to go there. You can just retire and smoke weed.
Take your protection order and move to Trinidad.
We have for you the Trinidad, Colorado Real Estate Report. Your average two-bedroom rental here goes for about $980 a month. So that's less than the national average by a little bit, but it seems not worth it to rent.
Sounds like a lot.
Yeah, I found a two-bedroom, one-bath, 744 square foot kind of little house. It's on the side of a mountain, sort of like the whole property's a hill, so you're on that.
Some stilts.
It's no stilts. It's just kind of down. I mean, there might be stilts being covered by some wood or something in the front. It's falling apart. It's going to tumble down the mountain at some point. It looks like where you hide when you're on the run from federal authorities is where this looks like the place. $75,000 for that little slice of heaven there.
Well,
so
there's that.
I mean, if you're looking for a hideout though, safe house, this is the one.
Yeah.
I found a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, 1,161 square foot. It's a decent little family home, nice, small, but no grass to speak of anywhere, by the way. This looks like a goddamn...
rocks?
Just dirt and dead things, and it just looks like that. It looks like Arizona, the yards. $122,000 for that.
Okay.
It's crammed in with other houses, tight, so the wind doesn't...
Everybody's got Everybody's got no yard at all.
None. Here's a 4-bed, or they have like this: 4-bedroom, 5-bath, 3,242 square foot. But that's broken up though into a house and a bunkhouse. The bunkhouse is like 1,200 square feet, and the main house is like 2,000 square feet. It's on 99.5 acres.
Wow.
Overlooking a valley, like this crazy, beautiful valley. It's really nice. $799,000 for that. T-bowl for every b-hole.
Less than $800,000.
That's crazy. Yeah, there is nothing here, is what that says to me.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, like I said, if you have nothing to do, if you want to retire, you don't mind snow in the winter because it definitely snows here.
You bet.
It's this might be the place for you. Things to do in this little
what do they got?
Corner of the world. Not a lot, Jimmy. There's a Trinidad Blues Festival, which feels like it's just built around weed, which is fine. I'm happy with that. But it seems like it's...
I've never heard of when they talk about the blues, when nobody talks about Trinidad, Colorado.
No, that's what I mean. It's very strange. I don't know if it's a good blues festival or a bad blues festival, but everybody's probably pretty stoned, so we'll give it that. Then there's something here. The Rad Dirt Fest.
Yes.
It's rad.
I'm listening.
Well, it sounds like there's going to be motocross shit going on.
Dirt bikes and shit.
No. Deep in the southern Colorado Plateau lies an untouched plethora of gravel unlike any other.
No.
The towering Spanish peaks and expansive mesas serve as the backdrop for 3 unique courses of the Rad Dirt Fest. The courses are all more than 90% maintained gravel roads and mostly rolling routes. It's all really scenic and unlike any other region in Colorado because it's a fucking desert with mountains in it. Don't be fooled, though. The elevation and climbing will humble you, especially on the longer ride. We mean it when we say you'll truly become one with nature out on these courses and see an abundance of wildlife. Jump in for yourself and see. It's going to be rad. That's from their website. It's just fucking, dude, it's trails. There's no anything. There's no performances.
There's nothing motorized? It's walk?
It's fucking bicycle trails. It's bike trails.
Oh, no.
It's you just take your mountain bike, and there's 3 different courses all through dirt. They made trails. There's nothing there. There's no infrastructure. There's no anything like that. There's not going to be like, not a local band is going to come play. No. None of this shit. There's one trail. It's 165 miles.
Oh, my God.
One that's 99 miles. And then if you're just feeling lazy and you just want to, do that, there's one for 38 miles for you bums out there who don't want to do anything.
38-mile ride.
A casual 38-mile ride through off-road, up hills and down shit and on gravel and, perfect.
And it's a free ride. There's no like competition. Nobody wins anything. It's just bullshit.
You show up and you ride through the trails and everybody high fives at the end and they go, that was rad. That was rad, man, right? And then they come back next year. That's not a festival. No. You just said, we'll all meet and ride in these trails, okay? Cool. That's just a gathering of bicyclists. That's not a...
Holy shit.
Nothing official. Crime rate, what we're interested in this town, property crime is almost double the national average. So there's some shit popping off in the realm of stealing shit probably. But violent crime, murder, rape, robbery, and assault, the Mount Rushmore of crime, is right on the national average. So, I mean, that's one of those things. Also, you're going to have here a lot of people coming in and out that don't live here is the problem. So,
it's a pass through for sure.
Pass through, and people come here specifically to buy weed and leave. So that's the other thing. So they might not give a shit about that. So that said, let us talk about some weird murder. What do you say, Jim?
Let's do it. 88?
Let's do this. 88 what?
No, what is that the year we're going to?
No. Where'd you get 88 from?
Oh.
Did I say 88?
Did you say in the 80s? I thought you said
in the early 80s. Yeah, not 88.
All right, early 80s. Got it.
That's where this ends up. But in the beginning, we're going to have to go back in time to the mid-70s here to get a base of this and build this up. This is a crazy story. It is from a book called, Jesus Christ, it was at first called, quote, Bitch on Wheels. Which is what she called herself. That's why it was it's a quote. But then it was like, that sounds like it's not, it doesn't sound good.
It's accusatory.
Well, there's reason for that, but still.
Okay.
Then they changed it to Confessions of an American Black Widow. So there's that. By Greg Olson, I assume the ex-relief pitcher for the Baltimore Orioles and Arizona Diamondbacks, obviously.
I thought the tight end for the Carolina Panthers was
either way
a great author.
Well, either one of them, whichever Greg Olson did, it is. Yeah. They did some deep dive research here and wrote a hell of a weird story about this crazy murder, or series of crazy murder that happened here. First, let's go back to 1975, okay?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we'll do that. We can all see it, everybody. You see it. The hair's flowing, collars are big. It's a time.
It's hard to tell, though, because Trinidad may not have been at that point yet. They still may have been running in the 50s.
I think the hippie craze just got here. They're like,
it may have.
Like, was that tie-dye? That's pretty cool. Yeah, nice. So here, though, we're not going to be in Trinidad quite yet. Okay. Let's talk about a young lady from this time, okay? Back in 1975. Her name is Sharon Lynn Nelson. She's 30 years old in 1975. Likes to be called Cher.
Okay.
S-H-E-R, Cher. Like, hey, Cher, like Sharon. It's Sharon, not Sharon anyway. So, but whatever. I don't care anymore. It's fine. What do you call you whatever you want to be, your name is. So she is married as well. Her husband's name is Mike Fuller. Yeah. And she's married to him. They're married. They have kids. They have a whole thing going on here.
The real thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He is a Seventh-day Adventist preacher.
Oh, boy.
That guy does some preaching. Yeah. I mean, that's hardcore. So it's very religious. We'll just say that.
It's an interesting religion. Yeah.
There's nothing casual about that type of deal. It's not a casual affair. So as said in Deadwood, if we fight, it won't be a casual affair. That's what that is. So at this point in time, Mike And Mike and Sharon here, they are in the car and they're leaving. They have 2 little girls and they're in the car headed from Durham, North Carolina to Colorado. Okay.
That's a long ride.
It's a long ride, making a fresh start. Yeah. That's it. They all need a fresh start for a reason. It's not just, we're kind of worn out here. There's very specific, very specific reasons. Neither of them are wanted. That's the thing. They're quite upstanding. I mean, there's not like a angry townsfolk with pitchforks and torches chasing them out of town or anything like that. So they've been in Durham. They were there in Durham for 4 years, and there'd been some things, we'll just say, here. They're headed to Rocky Ford, Colorado. That's where they're going. Rocky Ford. And they have Rochelle and Denise in the back seat. They are 7 and 2 years old, respectively, and that's how it goes. The problem is that Sharon fell in love with another man who just happened to be in the church's congregation.
Oh, no.
So when the preacher's wife is, banging one of the congregants, it spreads bad things. It's not good for morale. We'll put it that way. So
she's leaning forward, winking in the pew. That looks awful.
And he's a married man, too. So that's the other thing. So all the ladies were like, oh, hell no. And then, then they also were like, well, I bet he's doing it, too, then. So it was bad. They had to go. Yeah. We'll give a quote right from her here. Quote, "It wasn't so much that our marriage was bad at that point. Mike was never a sensitive person. He'd never be one to share like Rod McEwen poems. I'll never forget the first time I went to Craig's apartment." Craig,
what Craig did.
Craig is the guy. I think his marriage is on the rocks here is the problem. Yeah. That's his deal. So he's got his own apartment.
Big fan of McEwen.
Big fan, Rod McEwen. So he said, first time I went to Craig's apartment, he had a fantastic stereo system, and he had a tape. He had lots of tapes of Rod McEwen. By the way, I love how in the mid-'70s, someone having a cool stereo system is a reason to date them.
And lots of tapes.
You want to hear something funny?
Yeah.
My mother and my father, okay? They met in high school, which is why they're divorced, which is why they were divorced by the time I was 2. They met in high school, and my dad wanted to go out with my mother, and one of her friends told her, you should go out with him. I hear he has cool tapes in his car.
He has a bitchin' stereo.
Literally. He has cool tapes in his car. You should go out with him. Like, I heard he's a nice guy, and he has cool tapes in his car. He's not a rapist, and he's got tapes.
And he's got so much Crosby, Stills, and Nash.
He's got tons of Boston and Led Zeppelin in there. So, he's got Led Zeppelin 4. You should go in there. I think you'd like it because that's exactly what the time period was. So, and my mother went, okay. And then they had me and got divorced. So, that's how that works. So tapes.
She had you and realized she hates tapes.
Tapes, yeah. She's like, I don't know about those 8-tracks anymore. Those aren't so good. But this is the same period. That was like 74, and this is 75. So we're talking, and that's when she was 74. So 1974 was the peak time for having good tapes. You could you could pull women left and right with tapes. So he said one of them was the jostling of angels, and it just struck me so. She said, it was like it was talking about me. The feeling I got was when you're so self-sufficient and self-important and you're walking down the street, be careful that your imagery wings don't jostle the real angels that are the common people.
Huh.
Wow. Does that give you an insight into who we're dealing with right now?
I'm confused.
No. I didn't say, do you know what she's talking about? I said, does that... You're missing my question. I said, does that give you an insight of who we're dealing with?
Is she looking for a deep meaning in sex? Is that what you think?
She's looking for deep meanings in a lot of shit. When you hear somebody say that, you go, I don't know who you are or what you're about, but I know that I don't want to spend time with you. That's what I do know, because I don't know what the fuck you're saying. I
don't know what jostling angels means. She sounds like a porn star.
I said imagery. Your imaginary wings don't jostle the real angels that are the common people.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be like a humble brag. I think it's supposed to be. Yeah. That's what it sounds like. You know what I mean? Like, I'm no angel because I'm like this different kind of person, unlike your regular people. So it's like I'm above people, but I'm also below them. So it's like it's a total humble brag. That's what she's saying. Yeah. Fucking, that's annoying. Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about the safest sponsor ever, Simply Safe. Absolutely, these people will keep you safe. It's amazing. You know that every 26 seconds a burglary takes place in the United States, according to the FBI. That means that by the time this podcast is over, dozens and dozens of homes will have been targeted, ransacked. God knows what happens here. So protect your home before it's too late with Simply Safe proactive security system. Simply Safe helps stop threats before they even have a chance to break in. Named Best Home Security System by U.S. News and World Report 5 years in a row. And by us for about the last 8 years as well. If you trust us, believe me, you want Simply Safe. So visit simplysafe.com/small to claim 50% off a new system with professional monitoring plan and your first month free. That's simplysafe.com/small. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about Sono Bello. You know, the most known secret with celebrities and influencers and all these famous people is so many of them have had lipo. They've had lipo, whether it's a little touch-up here or a total makeover. Yeah. Nobody has a perfect body. That's the thing. No. They may look like it on TV, but there's things that help that. Absolutely. Lipo now has changed, and Sono Bello's been at the forefront with using LAL technology and getting those beautiful and natural outcomes for each person. Looking real natural. Our friends at Sono Bello are offering their best deal. You're now included in their winter savings event, but appointments are limited, so please get on this. Sono Bello doctors are masters in micro laser fat removal, a brilliant technique that removes stubborn fat permanently wherever your problem areas are. Tummy, love handles, thighs, arms, it's gone in one comfortable visit. Eating healthy and workouts are great. Keep doing that, but if you want to lose that stubborn fat in one visit, check out Sono Bello. Save big during their winter savings event. Schedule your free consultation now at sonobello.com/smalltownmurder. That's SONOBELLO.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
She had several affairs. They keep going from state to state, running from her affairs, basically.
Poor Fuller's got to run from this.
He's got to running from my wife's affairs. Isn't that a country song from back then, I think? Running from my wife's affairs.
All my exes live in Texas is one thing. So he lives in Tennessee.
They're out in the pews, and that's who she screws. And I swear to God, we're running from her affairs.
Maybe that's what. Is that what running from the devil means?
I think it is.
Running with the devil.
That's running with the devil.
He's running with the devil.
The devil's chasing us. So there was affairs in Ohio. There was affairs in North Carolina, and the main thing that is an issue here is Rochelle, the 7-year-old, isn't even his.
Oh no.
He found out later on that was, she didn't even know which one. That was basically somebody's, someone else's kid it was. And he was like, oh, well, thanks a lot for telling me that. Great. But he said the youngest daughter, though, Denise, who was born in North Carolina that was during a period of marital stability. So that is his kid, definitely. Sure, and then once she had the kid, that's when she went out. Once she had Denise, she was went out looking for Craig. So she said that oh my, this is so fucking weird. She said that her husband, the Minister Mike, she said he considered himself a, quote, legend in his own mind. That's how she looks at him, one of those kind of guys. And that he didn't understand that there were, quote, real people out there that knocked around emotionally that had real worth. Okay. So I guess I don't know if Seventh-day Adventism is like Scientology, but that's how it would be. Like, I'm above all this. I'm clear. I don't know about you people. I don't check your fucking thetans and whatever, but I'm clear. It's totally fine.
You guys are still 6 days. I'm 7th.
I am all the way to the 7th. So Craig, though, she said, was a different kind of guy. He was a gentle guy.
Yeah.
He had a certain touch with her. You know what I mean? One time, her daughter, the teddy bear, was falling apart, and he whipped out a Band-Aid, put it on it. See? It's all better now. You know,
a Band-Aid on a teddy bear?
There you go.
That fixes it?
He's all better now. Clever. He's got an ouchie. You know what I mean? And then that made Sharon swoon, because Sharon was like, man, that's something right there. He's nice. My husband would have just
Band-Aids.
tossed that shit in the fucking, my husband doesn't even know where the Band-Aids are. This is bullshit. So she said Craig was gentle. She said that he was everything that she ever wanted. You know what I mean? Everything. And, but she said this was different. This was a different kind of thing. This was something that her husband didn't give her, the tenderness, poetry, I guess. I don't know what the hell.
Poetry and Band-Aids.
Poetry, Band-Aids, tenderness. It's all there, and dick too, because that's definitely a part of this. So she said that it would take her an hour to come up with a list of positive attributes about her husband. She just didn't have any. Just not a lot. He's gruff and impatient. All he cares about is the church and his position in the church and, his career, I guess, that sort of thing. Doesn't care about her needs at all. And she said he's just very cold, very, very cold. And she doesn't like that. She's looking for a warmer guy, a guy who lives in a studio apartment and has good tapes. That's something.
Right.
She's looking for that. So in
carefree guy.
A carefree guy, yeah, swinger here. So in 1975, she wants to leave. Okay. She's going to do it. She said she's going to get out of here. She's going to start her life over with Craig, and it's going to be a thing here. So this is before they go to Colorado, obviously. This is in North Carolina. So she said she was completely in love with Craig, and she's going to start over. She drove from where they lived to her parents' house in Maryland, and she just took off. Didn't tell Mike she was taking off or whatever. She went there. She didn't even tell Craig where she was going. They said, he told everybody, I guess Mike told everybody that Sharon and the kids went to visit her sick relative somewhere. So that's where they were, even though he didn't know where the fuck they were.
He has no clue.
No clue. Her parents said, don't leave your husband. You can work things out. Marriage isn't easy. But you made a commitment and, blah, blah, blah. You can't toss it away and, all that kind of shit. So Sharon ends up going back to her husband. She goes back to Mike. She says, some of it was the church and her mother everybody was telling her it was a dumb thing to do to go live in a studio apartment with this guy. That's not the answer to this. So she said, okay, fine. She goes back and when she gets back from her trip, he says, glad you're back with the kids. We're moving to Colorado.
Yeah.
We're getting the fuck out of here. I got a transfer going and see you later. And so she went to see Craig and she told him she was stuck with it and there's no way out. And she said, Mike's never going to let me go. He's never going to let me walk away. Even I have all these affairs. He still doesn't care. We just moved to another place. We run from the devil. It doesn't matter.
There's no way he's going to let me leave him with his kid and somebody else's.
It's not at all. No way. So Craig says, all right, cool, later. Like he doesn't, bye. Like that's what he says. Like she was like, oh, okay.
What about, and then he puts the headphones back on.
She thought, and he puts the headphones back on and he's like, slow riding, take it easy, points at her, waving, slow riding. He's shaking his ass at her. Yeah, take it easy. Get the fuck out. Going to the bar tonight.
When you head west, make sure you pass through LaGrange, Texas, and play this song from ZZ Top.
Yeah, you can do it. It's a good one, right? Don't let the door hit you on the ass on the way out there. Bye.
Down to LaGrange.
Lock that bottom lock, will you? Peace. Hey, wait. No, Sharon, come back. Sharon. Would you take this garbage to the dumpster on the way to your car? Thank you. Slam, click, bye. That's how little he gives a shit. He's just...
One more. Turn the lights off. I like it in the dark.
Hold on, there's recycling. Here, I have that too. So they're heading west there. Affair ended. Everything's fine now, I guess. It's all over with.
And Craig is living the life.
Yeah, Craig doesn't give a shit. He couldn't care less. And that's the other thing, too, we have to remember is that Sharon is considered hot by everybody that sees her. Sharon is considered very attractive.
Clearly, yeah.
Yeah, she's very attractive. Everybody says she's, all the guys when they see her, they're like, oh, preacher's wife is stacked. Hey, she's fucking stacked over here, this broad. Let me tell you something.
As much as that's the one philosophy on earth that is a never failure. If you want to be successful, just be really hot.
Either gender. Doesn't matter. That's
right.
the thing. Yeah.
Exactly. I feel bad for those people sometimes because it's got to be fucking brutal to realize that, or never realize that you're getting a lot of things because you're fucking hot.
That's what I mean.
It's got to be a tough life.
If you have that life, you want to burn up in a car accident at 33 like a big fireball, because it's still good. Because otherwise,
don't let this fall apart.
The realities of life are going to come crashing down at some point.
It's going to hurt.
That's how it goes.
I'm thankful for this face sometimes.
No shit. So before they head to Colorado, they get a letter from the church in Colorado. This is from the elders, the 3 elders from the churches in Rocky Ford and some other town here that they were going to go to, and he was going to minister at. Right. So all 3 of these men were doctors, Dr. Ted Martin, Dr. Carl Wheeler, and Dr. Perry Nelson. Okay? So she read the letter when she was in Durham, and it was a big welcome to you and your family. We can't wait to have you here as part of our extended family. A welcome aboard letter here. So she said, quote, there was something about that letter, about Perry's name, that was like a magnet to me. Perry Nelson. Are you wet, Jimmy?
I'm throbbing.
Oh, God. Well, Perry Nelson. Jesus Christ. I don't know what it is, but she read a name
since you said it.
Yeah, I've just been grinding up on the counter over here, just on the corner of the cabinets. I don't know. But she said
it's so close to Perry Mason.
My God, man, we always make every week. It seems like we're making fun of guys for being so disgusting and horny, and it's like she just sounds like one of these dudes in a trailer who's got like 16-year-olds coming over. You know what I mean? Going, I'll give you beer and pot if you blow me.
She heard a name. And she's in.
She's like, Dr. Perry Nelson, eh? Mm-hmm, that's the one. So she said, I wondered what this man was like. Wow. And so then she, across the country, formed some weird thing of like, I must be destined to meet this Dr. Perry Nelson guy because there's just something about his name that intrigues me to the point where when I get there, I feel like we're in a relationship. Some kind of predestined thing is here. That's why we're being driven here.
Wow.
Yeah. That's not because I keep having affairs on my fucking jerk-off husband. Like, sounds like she's not happy and should just get a divorce. Like,
Yeah,
that's fine.
If she got the divorce, though, bro, it'd be a fucking nightmare.
Well, her parents are very religious, too, so this is hard on, like, her whole family was like, no, you can't do that. And it was one of those. So, anyway, they got to Colorado. Yeah. They found that their home that they'd been promised wasn't finished yet. Yikes. They were still constructing it. So they ended up in a hotel, or a motel, actually, and both kids ended up getting sick for a while, and they had
because it's a motel.
I was going to say, they had some weird, mysterious road illness from people driving from Phoenix to Denver, and they stopped there. And
did you happen to stop in Pennsylvania and eat chicken?
I think maybe it was the truck stop Church's chicken or Popeyes. Was it Popeyes or Church's? Which one?
Popeyes.
Popeyes. Yeah. The truck stop Popeyes that you ate.
Road Popeyes is not good.
The truck stop eyes that you ate, that was not good. And I still love how you went to eat another piece as you were walking to the bathroom holding your stomach.
To throw it away.
And knowing that was the reason. Oh, that chicken killed me. And then you I'm going to have what the fuck are you doing? Oh, yeah. And then you threw it out. You went, oh, yeah. You were your hand was on your stomach. How did you not remember that pain was going on in your stomach while you were going to eat the chicken?
Oh, that chicken made me so sick as I was putting another piece of chicken in my mouth.
You're like, oh, and it's been sitting for 2 hours in the car. Now it's good. Now it's really good. On the floorboard there. Now it's really good.
I'm so dumb sometimes.
That was awesome. So, sick kids, house not done, living in a motel, probably black mold or something in there. I don't know. Sharon thought the church also sucked, basically. The old church was like a beautiful church, and it was nice, and this is just like they build shit in the middle of the desert. It's got to withstand the wind, so it's just a low-slung, looks like a miniature army installment, It's just
looks like a very small barracks.
Yeah, like a tiny barracks, just going to put a few guys out there.
You look at it and you go, not a lot of religion in there.
No, it doesn't look too religious in there.
Looks like I got to bring all my own religion here.
I think God forgot about this place, everybody. I'm looking around now. He forgot. It's all good.
What do you believe in?
They get there, and the Fullers are invited to a church, to a dinner at one of the church elders' houses. And it's with all the church elders. They're going to have a big welcome. Welcome on in. I think it's a sit-down, actually. I think it's a more formal affair. We're going to a doctor's house. It's going to be formal here. We're going to sit down. There's probably a quiche involved. I'm not sure what doctors eat. Back then, I'm trying to think of like what was trendy in the 70s. So Dr. Perry Nelson, he's 43 years old. He's got a wife named Julie, and it's their house that everyone's going to. He is an optometrist. He's a big eye doctor. And apparently, where this place is, he's kind of the only optometrist for a while, so he gets business from like everybody, and he does really well for himself because of that. He's about 6'3", 180 pounds.
Oh,
he's got a salt and pepper beard. A little thin on top with the hair, but it's a little longer, so it's going to be scraggly, I feel like. But that's fine. Whatever. He's doing his thing. But he's got a wife, family, 3. His daughters are older. They're all in their teens, and a nice house. He's also got a motor home, a big RV out there, and he owns an airplane as well.
Oh, he's so fun.
So he's doing well for himself. He's living the life, and he's also he's a church elder. That's the most important thing to them at that point, is he's a church elder, and all of that. His wife Julie is if you think of like an old timey church elder's wife, that's what you'd think of as Julie. You know what I mean? Right. She's quiet, nice, that sort of thing. Not like
the obey part of her vows was a big deal to her.
Yeah, exactly. Like she's I feel like his father would have taken him aside and went, "That's a sturdy woman there. You should marry her." You know what I mean? Like it's that sort of thing. She's a handsome woman and very sturdy, which is great. Fine, nothing wrong with that. But I mean, it's they look like they are a couple. He looks like a dorky optometrist, and she looks like a dorky church lady's wife. That's a church man's wife. So that's how it's going here. So Julie would help out in his office as well, and also worked as a bookkeeper for another doctor. And they had their daughters, Tammy, Kathy, and Lori, and that's the whole family here. They have a nice, like we said, nice house, all that sort of thing. The problem is Perry here, Dr. Perry, we'll just call him. Old Dr. Perry had an affair for like 4 years.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, that was for like a 4-year affair, and Julie found out about it. And
oh, no.
He's Dr. Horny here has a problem with that sort of thing. He's drawn to women outside of his marriage. And anyway, Julie, though, they made up and they got past it. 4 years? That's a little long to get past. I'm sorry.
That's a fucking another family.
You can't say it was just a physical thing, and I met her, and it was just, that's all. It didn't mean anything. 4 years means something. That's a long fucking time.
Christmas gifts, you son of a bitch.
That's all of high school. You dated her. That's a long time. Think about how long 4 years of high school was. Now date someone that whole time. That's what he's been doing while he's married with kids on the side. That's wild.
She absolutely brought up, "Will you leave your wife for me?" At some point.
She must have. Absolutely. Christ. At 4 years, I would hope so. She's like, I'm getting older. It's 4 years have gone by. So anyway, though, everything is fine. Fresh start. It's all good. Julie said about them, Mike and Sharon seemed like a nice average couple. There you go. They had 2 little girls, aged 2 and 5, and at the time, they seemed like a happy family. I didn't know there were any problems in the marriage. I thought Sharon was friendly. I guess I liked her.
Yeah.
That's good. That's nice.
Maybe was it?
Maybe Sharon will have a friend. Right? Maybe she'll have a nice friend and Julie, and everything will be really nice, and the kids will grow up together, and maybe they can get the Dr. Perry's kids because they're older to babysit their kids and make a couple extra bucks on the side. This is going to be great.
Sharon's a genius. How did she know, based on name, that this is the guy that's capable
that's
to
what
get?
I mean.
That's
Sixth
unbelievable.
Sense. The same
unbelievable.
Same way Ted Bundy knew which women to approach with the cast on. It's just a sixth sense that people have, predators have in any way, and we'll find out why I'm calling her a predator later. Don't worry. It's not just because she's horny. That's fine. That's not predatory. We'll talk about that in a minute here. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, this is a weird thing. So she liked her. So maybe she'll be friends. I have a good feeling about this whole thing, Jimmy. Okay. I don't know about you, but I think it's going to work out just fine. So maybe it'll be the first time ever in small town murder history. Problem is when they left, though, some of the other people at the dinner party didn't quite feel the same way about Sharon. No. There's a woman named Blanche Wheeler here. Blanche Wheeler. Blanche and her husband came to the dinner as well. She said she couldn't quite put her finger on it, but didn't really like Cher Fuller that much. She said, quote, "I don't know why, but I just felt uncomfortable around her. Just felt like she was making eyes at my husband's penis. I don't know what it was, but kept looking down there." But the Carl Wheeler, that's her husband, in this book, he's described as a, quote, serious-minded man raised on a Nebraska farm with good Midwestern values. He'd also picked up on something unsettling. He stared straight ahead and watched the road, listening to his wife. The whole way home, she just said how much she didn't like this new lady that came in.
Yeah.
And he just...
Carl.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Carl Wheeler, is that his name?
Carl Wheeler. Yep. Mm-hmm.
He's driving along going, I know it.
She's a hussy.
Tits, but
yep. She's a harlot, and he just keeps driving. I understand. So she was very angry, the whole thing, and then he ended up saying just out of nowhere, he said, quote, "She's out looking," and Blanche said, "Looking," and he said, "You know what I mean, for a man." Uh-huh. So he's basically agreeing with her, but he's also taking it a step further. Now, she's way different than all these other church ladies, too, in terms of appearance. They're more of like the buttoned up type, with the fundamentalist braid and that sort of shit. Like
the neck doily. Yeah.
She's got, not that far. They're not Mennonites, but they're just conservative, not showing a whole lot. There's no cleavage showing is what I'm getting at. You know what I mean?
Right.
When one of these ladies bends over in the kitchen, her skirt doesn't ride up so you can see her ass. That's what I mean. It's
just her ankles.
It's all pretty low. Like, look at those Tom McCanns she's got on. Those are nice.
Hell of a set of buckle on those shoes, Margaret.
I like your buckles, Martha. So anyway, she had a different kind of style, and most of the women that live out here too, they dress like Westerny. They have like the whole denim suit and shit like that. She has like long hair that she lets down. She's wears tight dresses. The buttons are unbuttoned on her blouses a little bit lower than all the other women. Not to an extreme of anybody's, but I mean, just like, oh, hey, look at that. One of those things where enough where she stands out in church. She looks like, a woman that understands that, she's a human being with sexuality. And obviously in a very conservative church, that's not going to be welcome. Clearly.
Yeah.
She didn't even wear like a ton of makeup either. So she wasn't like that or anything. She just had a decent beauty and she worked it. She knew how to work it. So by the summer of 1976, Perry Nelson, Dr. Perry, he tells his assistant Barb, I can't hear the name Barb and not think of Stranger Things now. It's just picture a girl climbing into a pool. So
clawing to get out
hard. So she is told that he's bringing a new girl to Trinidad for office training. New girl. He told Barb it's going to be up to you to break in this new girl here. She's just a part-time assistant, this new woman coming in, and here she is, and it's Sharon Fuller.
Yeah.
So he hires Sharon. Now,
a job.
Yeah. Now, over the last
doesn't like you, so I'll make sure that you're and I, if we have any interaction, it'll be several hours a day outside of her eyes.
Outside of her eyes, and hopefully alone. So there we go. Around a lot of doors that close. So Barb had been hearing him talk about Sharon all summer, and she was like, whatever, he'd been mentioning her name all summer, and she just kind of blew it off. And then, then he said, she's coming in, this Sharon. And Barb said, is this the Sharon you keep talking about? And he said, she's our preacher's wife, Sharon Fuller. And at that point, it's like, hey, I'm not banging her or anything like that. So, that's how that works. And she said, preacher's wife, Jesus, you're carrying on over her like that? Why are you talking about like that? And he says, oh, no, that's crazy. No, she's a doll. I'd give anything to have her, he said at that point. Oh. He's pretty open with his secretary. And she knew this. Barb knew that he would stray in the past. She works for him all the time. She knows what he's doing,
She takes the messages, yeah.
If anybody knows, it's her. So Barb said, quote, about Sharon coming to work, she came in and it was all lovey-dovey. There was no breaking in, let's face it. She went into his examining room and she was supposed to take notes. Oh, yeah, they were just kidding around and everything.
Yeah.
Then at 11 a.m. on her first day, Dr. Perry told Barb, you can go to lunch now at 11.
See you around.
Now, normally noon. He has it scheduled very rigidly. Noon to 1 o'clock is your lunch break. Now at 11 o'clock, he's like, "You can go to lunch now if you want." And then he said, "Quote: You don't have to come back if you don't want to either. You can stay gone for any number of hours. Really, just come back tomorrow. You know what? Get the fuck out, Barb. Now,
take a week off. I gotta go.
Take the whole week." So Barb was like, "What the shit? That's never happened before," she said, since she worked there. So
this isn't obvious.
That's weird. So then she runs into a friend of hers that manages a motel about a week later. Okay. And this guy tells her they're bullshitting and, they know each other and she knows that this man knows that Barb works for Dr. Perry. And so he says, "Oh, I met the doctor's wife the other day at the motel." Yeah. That's right. Nice. They checked into a room. Perry and Julie checked into a room at the hotel, and Barb was like, "Julie, and why would they check it? That's weird, very weird." And she said, "You met Julie?" And he goes, "Yeah, isn't she cute?" And Barb was like, Barb said, and she even said too, like, she's not unattractive or anything like that, but she's not someone that you'd see and be like, "Oh, she's cute." You know what I mean? She just, it's just not how she's ever heard her described. So she was like, "That's weird." And then Barb said, "What does she look like?"
He goes, "Yeah, long hair, tits out."
Long hair, tits out. I look through the window, legs up in the air. You know how it goes. I don't know. I'll get my binoculars and take pictures next time, but that's what I saw. Yeah. So birthmark on her left ass cheek, She says, "What does she look like?" And he says, "Oh, she has auburn hair and really nice looking blue eyes." And Barbara went, "Yeah, that's not Julie at all. No, that is 100% Sharon Fuller, actually, is who that is."
Yeah.
So, that's not good. So September 27th, 1976, this just started. She came to work there in August. By September, there's a night where all the church ladies are supposed to go to someone's house because they're in some multi-level marketing and they're trying to sell face cream. Okay. So some horse shit. Yeah. Or who knows what it was back then, because it might have been that Amway shit and they might have had whatever other products. Who the fuck knows? So either way, they're all supposed to go there for that. Julie ended up going to the outing there, but Sharon doesn't show up. She's expected. She RSVP'd that she'd be there, facing ready to go. Yeah. She's not there. So Julie gets home about 10:30, and on her front doorstep is Mike Fuller, Minister Mike here. He looks all frazzled, and she's like, "Help you? What's going on?" He says, "Well, my wife left with your husband, so we should probably figure that out together." Yeah. He said, "I've been driving around all night trying to figure out where they had gone. Do you know where they might go?" And she said, "I have no fucking idea. We can call Barb. Maybe she knows." So she calls Barb in the middle. Barb was sleeping. She's like, "Huh? Hello?" And she said, "Do you know where Perry is?" And she said, "I don't know. He left the office at 5 o'clock with Sharon."
Oh, boy.
And then Julie goes, "With Sharon?" "Yeah, Sharon Fuller." And she's like, "Okay, do you know where they went?" And Barb says, "No, I don't. How would I know where they went? I fucking went home. I don't care he's my boss. I don't care what he does outside of this. I don't care.
I forget.
I'm on my time."
Yeah.
And she said, "Well, it's 11 o'clock. I'm getting concerned. I don't know what to do here." And, that was that. She hung up with Barb. And then a few minutes later, Perry calls.
Yeah. Ring.
That's an uncomfortable. "Hey, how do you?" She says hello. And what do you say? "Hey.
Hey.
Hey there."
What are you doing?
How's it going? The kid's good? They're sleeping. Okay. All right then.
Sound groggy, Perry. What's happening?
Yeah.
Why are you so sleepy?
She said, Mike is here, said you ran away with his wife. What the fuck? Is this true? And he went, yeah, it's true.
Damn it.
And, he says that, he's not even sorry, is what he tells her. He said, I'm not even sorry. I can't be sorry because it's the right thing to do. And then he tells her, quote, I've never loved anybody like the way I love her. Oh, no. So Julie cries because by this time she's been talking to Mike, and Mike's like, she's always having goddamn affairs and running off with this one. And she's like, Julie's like, well, fuck, my husband was banging this lady for 4 years and God knows what else.
Yeah, exactly.
So she says, what makes you think you can trust each other? Either one of you. And, she says, quote, I'd hate to be her and trust you. How are you going to trust her? Also, like, what the fuck is your deal? He says simply, quote, we love each other.
Oh, boy.
It's going to be just fine. It's going to be just fine.
Oh, boy.
So Sharon decides she doesn't know. She decides at that point she's leaving, but then she says maybe I won't leave. She ends up going to some Seventh-day Adventist counselor in Texas who convinces her to go back with Mike. Because it's some sort of whatever. Anytime you go to a way to be talked to by a church person, it's some form of indoctrination. You're going to leave doing what they want you to do, probably, or they're not going to let you leave till you do. I feel like
there's some brainwashing happening.
There's
for sure.
There's something going on there. Like you've been sent somewhere to change your way of thinking,
to do what they want you to do.
Yeah. So she goes back to Colorado and reunites with Mike, but at some point, Perry sends her a gift, Dr. Perry, and she can't fucking resist him. That gift, boom, she's off again. She's done.
Fuck.
Mike says, fine, but I want the kids. One of them isn't even his.
Right.
The fuck are you talking about? That's
He's
not
a
even
girl.
your, like, but he wants the kids, so whatever, he wants the kids. And Carl Wheeler, as we know, Blanche's husband here, he heard of Mike's plan to take the kids, and he offered to take the kids from Sharon by a court order, and he offered to help him out. He said, I'll come with you to the court. I know people, whatever. So Mike knew that Sharon was hiding out at her sister Judy's place around there. So Carl considered, he said that, listen, I'll listen to you. You can spout off and do your thing. And Carl later said, quote, Mike was a feisty sort of guy for a preacher. Which is a pretty funny way to put it.
Yeah.
It didn't take much for him to double up his fists and take a poke at someone.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I don't know like I said, I don't know a lot about Seventh-day Adventism, but I don't know if they turn the other cheek is not yeah. Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit more about our stylish friends at Quince. That's right. Let's go elevate your styles, people. Yeah. Get it going, look good out there, and you can do it now without breaking your wallet, without breaking the bank, because at Quince, you can get high-end, versatile pieces at prices we can all actually afford, which is very nice. You want to get good stuff that lasts and it's good, and they have quality stuff that's very affordable, and you can do like we did, upgrading our stuff here, well, still being a very reasonable price. Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, responsible manufacturing practices, along with premium fabrics and finishes. It's all quality stuff. You're going to love it. Trust us, it looks good. And I've got the leather jacket. It's a very high-quality item. Real nice, soft leather. Yeah. Jimmy's got his linen pants he's rocking.
Yeah, they're terrific.
Come on, be like us. Be fashionable. Get in there with Quince. Indulge in affordable luxury. Go to quince.com/smalltownmurder for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/smalltownmurder to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about a very cool place, Thrive Market. Yes, we are both looking to get into the healthy swing this year. The problem is I don't know what's in everything, and I don't know if even I'm qualified to even read the labels to know if that's good or that's bad. Right. There's chemicals in things, and there's things floating around. I don't know what I'm doing out there. One of my favorite features, and I know you were talking to me about this, is the Healthy Swap Scanner in the Thrive Market app. Yeah, it's simple. You scan any item, and it'll instantly suggest a cleaner, healthier grocery alternative, which is
It's great.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's great. Thrive Market also takes the guesswork out of finding these safe, healthy foods. For example, like I'm trying to get my protein intake up.
Yeah.
For energy. I'm always moving around. I need stuff. And I love that you can filter their site by the high protein options.
Nice.
It's very cool. And you can personalize this portion and you can put filters on it. And get ready. You should be ready for a junk-free start to 2025. Get ready for it and head to thrivemarket.com/smalltownmurder and get 30% off your first order plus a free $60 gift. That's THRIVE market.com/smalltownmurder, thrivemarket.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Worse, man, if your wife's constantly cheating on you, you're an angry son of a bitch, and you can't wait to take it out on somebody.
I think so, especially the guy who is banging her. So
Right.
a few weeks later, Perry pulls Barb aside and tells her what happened. And she's like, listen, Sharon went to hammer out this court agreement. And he says, quote, oh, Barb, it was something else. I bet. He said, quote, Mike got up and said what she did. She didn't even get to talk. And the judge said, and this, this is like someone in the 17th century said this, but this happened in the late 70s in America, okay?
Yeah.
Quote, I declare you a whore. You can't be legally adjudicated a whore, can you? That's not a thing.
I declare it in a robe with a gavel?
With the I declare, if you say I declare you a whore, that's you pronounce sentences with that. That's a final judgment, isn't it? He's a judge. It's literally a judge. They're judging you a whore.
She's adjudicated a whore.
I don't feel like that should probably. I think you can keep that opinion to yourself. Is what I'm getting at. I don't think
that
you say
shouldn't be in public record by
it
any.
shouldn't be in court record. Oh, this is the divorce case of those two. Oh, that's sad. They did that. Oh, well. Oh, looks like she's a whore. Okay. No, not my opinion. The judge said, "I declare you a whore." See those black and white. I didn't. Not my opinion.
In court steno shorthand.
I'd like to see the stenographer was in there. Type. Paused for a second. Shrug. Type. I mean, he said it. What the fuck? I don't want to be the guy. I'm not going to be the wrench in this spoke.
They pay me $13 an hour. I got to write it.
I declare you a whore, and I am taking your two daughters away from you. You will not even have visitation rights until they're 30. Until they turn 30 years old. Well, I don't think you can do that legally.
Yeah.
When they turn 30 years of age, they can make up their minds if they want to stay with their so-called mother or go with their father. Wow. Good Lord. That seems crazy. I declare you a whore? You so-called mother? Good Lord. She had an affair, but Christ's sake, it's not like she tried to stab him in his sleep, for fuck's sake. Like, this is a...
Blame her parents. They're the ones that called her Sharon.
Yeah, no
She's got to live up to it.
She's got to live up to the name Sharon. Wow. That judge, that is something else there.
That's
I don't even
amazing.
know what to say about it.
I can't believe that's legal.
I can't imagine it would be outside of some rural southern Colorado courtroom in the 70s. That doesn't sound legal.
Feels like you could win something on appeal with that.
Right. He called me a whore. He declared me, not even called me, he declared me a whore, which sounds very official.
In front of people.
It's on my
ex-husband there.
I went to renew my license since then. It's on my driver's license. There's just a W next to my
I've got a W
birthday
endorsement on the back.
It's super weird. I don't understand it. It says organ donor W. Organ donor glasses W.
Sorry, given a ticket by a cop. He flipped over and goes, "You can ride a motorcycle?" I was like, No. Flip that over. I'm a whore.
I've never seen this before. Exactly.
Right.
It's crazy.
I'm
what
the only
the
one.
fuck, man? So Perry and Sharon move in together.
Mm-hmm.
They move in together. They put the place up for sale that Dr. Perry's family had been living in. Sharon sells her car, and they buy a smaller house there.
Yeah.
And as soon as their divorces go through, Sharon wants to get married immediately.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
She wants to get right back on that train, and she said that she's given up a lot and she needs no engagement. We're getting married right away. He said, great, sounds good, let's do it. So July 1st, 1977, they get married.
Wow.
She made her own dress, by the way. They had plenty of money.
Yeah. They're staying in Trinidad?
Here it's, there's one place in Trinidad and one place not, because they're going to move back and forth here a couple times.
Wow.
So, yeah, they do this. They get married. By the way, should I read the wedding dresses description from the
Please do.
book?
Yeah.
Okay.
That she made.
Quote, this means nothing to me or you, but a woman might, or a man, whoever, someone who knows shit about fabrics and making things like that, this might be something to you. It was a gunny sacks pattern that followed long and full and long to the floor with a cinched bodice, B-O-D-I-C-E. Is that Italian? Bodice. I don't know. I don't know. It's a bodice that accentuated her full breasts.
Oh.
She selected a light wheat-colored material, though it was more preferable than the acknowledgement that the white fabric would have been inappropriate for the bride. She also, being a legal whore and everything, you can't wear white.
She went with fucking brown because she's dirty.
The judge will yell at you from the back of the, she also fashioned the flouncy brim of a straw hat with silk flowers and lace. She picked out a beige leisure suit for Perry. I want to see those wedding pictures because, wow.
So much brown.
That sounds hideous. They went on their honeymoon for a couple days, and it was wonderful. Then they get back to Colorado, and obviously the gossip train explodes here.
My.
It's a lot. Here's one woman. She's just a woman, doesn't give her name, quoted from the book as a woman who knew all parties involved here. Yeah. I felt like the whole marriage was a show. It was like they were trying so hard to portray that they were so happy. She's miserable. The grim Karen over here. They were trying to prove to the world that they had done nothing wrong and that their love was good and right. It didn't matter about Mike and the kids or Julie and the girls. Their love was higher than that. Sharon was always a big one for appearances. She wanted everything new and perfect in her home, but it was just for looks. Her marriage was the same way. There was no heart to anything she had or did.
Jesus.
Wow. And I don't like her tits either. That's what that says to me. That's God damn, man.
She's mad.
I would say so. So by the next August, Sharon is pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
And by March the next year, she gives birth to a baby boy.
Yep.
And then by 1980, they had a little girl as well.
Wow.
So they have a boy, a little girl named Misty. They're pumping out more kids here. Mm-hmm. So they build a house. She's tired, she said, of living in little houses that someone else built. It's time for me to
build me a giant house.
Build me my place. And that's what she's going to do. And she wants it to be a big, grandiose, one-of-a-kind house that she wants. And it's I'll read this description right from the book, too, because it's the only way to do it. The focal point was a 6-sided great room that soared to a cathedral ceiling. A freestanding double-flue fireplace would be put in to provide warmth and ambiance. A wraparound deck 8 feet wide by 120 feet long would provide all the outdoor living space anyone could ever desire. The master bedroom, also with a cathedral ceiling and outside entrance, was enormous at 16 feet by 28 feet. That's a big fucking room. If the kitchen and the children's bedrooms were less grand and seemed almost incidental, the house only reflected the priorities of the designer. This was a love nest and a place to show the world what she had. The fact water had to be hauled from a neighbor's house only confirmed it. Who needs water when you have love? That's from the book. So
unbelievable. He built her the Coliseum.
And there's no water there. There's no phone lines here because they're in the middle of nowhere. They have to. So they're he just built a house in the middle of nowhere, and they're lucky to have electricity. It's crazy.
Trucking water in.
Got to truck water in from the neighbor. She even gave it a name. Mm-hmm. She named it Roundhouse.
Uh-huh.
I guess because it's 6-sided room in the middle there. So, they had at one point, this is a weird thing that the couple has here. At one point, they had a dinner party, and their son, Danny, came out of the bedroom and had a photograph and handed it to somebody at the dinner table and said, "This is when I got born."
What is it?
It is a photograph head on of Sharon, feet in the stirrups with him halfway out of her.
Oh my
there.
God. What?
That's the picture.
Somebody took a picture of the actual birth.
Yeah. They were like I need a high shutter speed because he's coming out fast. He could come out quick. We don't know. What if he shoots right out?
From the entrance of the tunnel of love.
Yep, that's what it is. And handed that to a dinner guest. And
and they threw up.
They were like, "Oh, that's very nice. Here you go." And the kid's like
Thanks,
smiling.
son.
Isn't that nice? So
this is when I got born.
I got born. That's cute as shit. Oh, gross. You picture it would be like them coming home from the hospital with the baby all swaddled and something. That's what the person probably, oh, that's good. You know what, Sharon? I don't want any more roast beef. I'm good right now. I changed my mind.
I'm all right.
I've had enough of your roast beef for now.
Episiotomy. Nice job, Sharon.
That's great.
You're tough.
Oh, well, I hope they sewed you up nice because that looks painful. Jesus Christ. So there's problems with Perry, obviously.
Yeah.
You know, the two of these two, they're both fucking, they can't stay happy in something. They both have to wander. So
Perry's jacked. He's been having a shitload of sex, but this is crazy now.
She's mad at him for giving so much money to his ex-wife and children. Okay. Which is probably ordered by a court. I don't think he probably has any choice in that matter.
They didn't adjudicate her a whore, so I don't know what to tell you.
Damn it. That keeps coming back to me. It keeps coming back. So Sharon said, this is not for me. I got to find somebody to have some fun with on the side. So she hooks up with a guy named Buzz.
Yeah.
His name is Buzz Reynolds.
Yeah.
But he was a second-tier astronaut. He was on the B team. They sent him in case anybody was sick. We already got a Buzz. We got to send him back. Get someone else. No, there's Buzz already. We can't use him.
Get back to the Tractor Supply store, Mr.
Sorry,
Reynolds.
No. Back to the Caterpillar store. That's where he's going to go because we can't use him. We just have another Buzz already.
Well, joke's on you guys. I made this amazing space wrap. It's called Reynolds Wrap. It's going to change the world.
I love it. Well, he's got a huge house out in Colorado here, big old house, and she said, well, fuck. He said, well, why don't you move into my house? Shack up with me. You don't need this fucking guy. And she said, you know what? I'm going to do it. He's described as a self-made rancher with a vast holding. So he's a landowner that has all this type of shit. He's a rich guy. He's a little bit older than them as well. And, didn't mention this. He's one of Dr. Perry's best friends. Very best friends. Yeah, there's that too. What the
fuck, man?
Very best friends.
How hot is she? Jesus, what's happening?
You know what I mean?
What is happening?
They're all falling all over. Every guy in town is like, I don't care about my lord, my wife, my children, the judge that done called you a whore. I love you. Please move into my house.
I will forsake my best friend to fuck you once.
My best friend? So he's got a lot of money and all that. So she leaves Perry and leaves him behind and shacks up with Buzz. And Sharon at one point showed up at the optometry office to pick up a check. And I don't know what was going on here. She asked to see her estranged husband. Barb said, wait a minute, he's busy with a patient. And then she went in and they got in a huge heated argument over money and all this type of shit. And he called her fucking names. I'm sure he called her a whore at some point and everything else. And Barb could hear them screaming at each other. And she was like, holy shit, I'm lunchtime yet? I'm taking my 15. Taking my 15. Okay. Then she goes, when it's all over with, Sharon stomps out of the office, slams the door, heads up toward the front where Barb is sitting and says, quote, I'll tell you what, if that son of a bitch doesn't give me a divorce, I'll blow his fucking head off. I'll kill him.
Oh, Sharon.
Okay. So Barb said, she made like a joke about it. She said, oh yeah, what would you do with the body? Come on. Like a joke, then what are you going to do?
What about the dismount?
Sharon didn't laugh at all.
Oh, really?
She took this as like, what's the plans? Sharon said, quote, I'll stick it in the freezer. No one would find him there.
Oh, my God.
That's what she said. And so that's how it went. She'd say crazy shit. Perry would do weird shit. They went back and forth.
Oh, no.
It's insane. And they have 2 kids in this battle, too. So, they have to communicate with each other and shit like that. So, anyway, the optometry business is falling apart because the doctor has turned to drinking a lot.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's a guy who would have 2 beers at a barbecue before, and now he's a guy who grabs a bottle of scotch on the way home at night.
Yeah.
He's a
bring
different
whiskey into somebody says 1 or 2,
1,
3 or 4.
I think you're fine. I looked at you said it's blurry, but I think it's blurry too, and I see great. So if we both think it's blurry, it's not blurry.
What I like to do when I see blurry, I cover one eye or close one eye, whichever.
That's what I recommend.
Work. That's how I get home.
Especially when you're driving. Just try that. Okay. You're all good. There you go.
Close one eye.
Say hi to Barb on the way out. Okay. All right.
Cheers.
All right. Sorry. Sorry. I didn't mean to blow that in your face. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. So
you don't want to. That's one of the last people that you want drunk is the guy that's fixing your fucking eyes.
That's not good, or any part of your body for that matter. Any kind of doctor. Her paychecks would get smaller. Sometimes they're delayed. So I can't pay you, Barb. I'll pay you in a few days, and then he pays her. 1 week, Barb collected $14 in receipts. Somebody came in and bought like one of those little glasses kits with the little screwdriver, and they left.
Oh my God.
He owed $120,000 on the mountain house, the roundhouse. The IRS was due more than $100,000, which you don't want to fuck with them. And the state of Colorado was owed $80,000 in back taxes and penalties. So that is $300,000 in 1982 that he owes out there. That's a lot of money. And also various lens labs around the country. A lot of people for his business too. $5,000 here, $10,000 there. He owes a lot of fucking money. A lot of money. So he has a Ford Bronco that's about to be repossessed because he hasn't been making payments on it as well. And he came into the office and looked just all out of sorts, obviously.
Yeah.
And Barb said, "What's wrong?" And he said, "I'm going to end it all."
Oh.
Everybody, this desk must just be like you just tell this person what you're thinking. Like there's no.
What truth serum does she have back there?
There's between no lines. It's just all
right on the nose. Just tell him what's happening.
Wow, I'm going to end it all. And she said, "You don't mean that. Don't do that." And she said, "What your grandmother said, what you said that one time." And she said, "If you die, you go straight to hell." And he said, quote, "I'm going there anyway." And he walked back into his office. So, yeah. So at lunch, she went to see a friend of Perry's and said, I think he's thinking about suicide. So the friend said, "I'll go see him after I get done with work." And she said, "No, you should go now. Like he could be doing it right now. I don't know. We have no idea what's going on."
Could be loading a gun as we speak.
So the friend said, "All right, fine, Jesus Christ." And then thinking she's being dramatic, he drove over there. When he gets there, luckily for Perry, the Bronco hasn't been repossessed. It's still in the parking lot. But oddly for Perry, he is in the truck with a loaded revolver in his hand.
Oh, boy.
And tears down his face. So he's crying with a gun in his hand in a parking lot in a car that's about to be repossessed. You want it back? You're getting it back with a little extra fucking schmutz on it. You're going to need to put a lot into the detailing, let me tell you something. So this is obviously not good, but he wasn't dead. He was still alive. And his friend said things are going to get better. It's going to be okay. And it's going to be all right and all that sort of thing. And he got him to put the gun down and maybe not be so suicidal.
Right.
So around Christmas time of this year, Sharon tells Perry that, "Hey, guess what, Perry? I'm pregnant with Buzz's baby."
Oh, boy.
Take that. I'm pregnant with Buzz's baby. And tells Perry that like, ha, then tells Buzz, "Pregnant with your baby." And he says, "Well, you got to get the fuck out." She said, "But I'm pregnant with your baby." And he said, "Yeah, I said get the fuck out. That's what I just said."
Go back to your husband.
I don't want a baby. I wanted to have a woman in a fuck pad. That's what I was looking for here because I'm a scumbag named Buzz. What do you think? I'm a nice guy? Come on. I'm a rancher named Buzz.
Yep.
I'm getting my rocks off and I'm taking off. So that's that. So she ended up moving into a shitty apartment in Rocky Ford, and she ended up eventually having an abortion from this because nobody needs this baby in the world.
No,
Let's be honest here. And I'm glad that she could. So after that, Perry decides, okay, let's call off the divorce. Maybe we can work this out.
Oh.
Yeah, let's try to work it out. That's fine. Perry's like, I'm not going to lose both families 2 in a row here.
Look at that.
Oh, for 2
brought them together.
Yeah, that baby brought 2 other people together who hated the fact that baby was coming. That's wild. Isn't that nice? That is nice. See, abortion can bring people together.
It can. See, sometimes it's the solution.
This, Dirty Dancing, there's a lot of records. He's like, we need to get together because our records at this point are bad. I'm 0 for 2 in relationships. Right. You're a certified whore. This is terrible. We can't be together if we do this. So
you're 0 for whoring. You have not been a victor in any situation ever. Let's give it a shot. Yeah.
Let's try this out. So they're back in the roundhouse now. Okay, trying to pay it off and all this shit. When one day, a rugged man from down the road comes a knocking. Okay, He lives in a trailer. They're practically next door neighbors, but it's a huge lot of land between them here. His name's Gary Starr Adams. Starr with 2 R's. So that's somebody's maiden name, mom's maiden name probably. So Gary Starr Adams here. Gary lives with his wife and his young son in a mobile home at the bottom of Cougar Ridge.
Hell yeah.
Well, he's going to be at the top of Cougar Ridge if he hangs out in this fucking house anymore because she is on the
He's going to be in Cougar's Canyon.
That's what I mean. Cougar Valley at this point. So it's whatever. Cougar Mountain, actually, I think. He's gonna climb this mountain right at the top. So they live down there. They also have a daughter, but she's all another one, but she's all grown up and lives by Denver. And so he goes in there, meets up. His place is a shithole. It's called in the book a ramshackle dive. So it just looks like a dump. He says, hey, neighbor, you mind if I borrow a wheelbarrow from you? I got a job along the road here, and, I could use a wheelbarrow. And they talked for a few minutes, and she liked the cut of his jib and jeans as well. He's a rugged, ranching, outdoor, calloused kind of a cat. And she loves that about him. She's like, I'm in with an optometrist right now. This is crazy.
I like hitting the wheelbarrow position.
Yeah, let's do it. So, wheelbarrow, yeah, you can borrow. Oh, no, okay, garage.
I can
garage.
Oh, you mean one of those? Yeah,
garage. I'm sorry. It's a habit. I just spring into action. Have you seen my driver's license? There's a reason. So at the Halloween party that she throws a big Halloween party. It's a costume party, and she invites about 20 friends and neighbors and all this type of shit. There's a lot of drinks flowing, and everybody's having a good time. And she snagged Gary Adams for a minute here. She said, Gary, why don't you ask me to dance? Or why don't you ask me to dance? And she said, she got close to him, and he's wearing leather. And she said, deep breathy. He said, quote, I love the smell of leather, she says.
Oh, God.
Ear. I love it. Yeah, that's good. He's dressed up like a mountain man because he already has the clothes. He's got a fringe.
I slaughtered this last week.
Well, wait till you hear this shit. He's got a fringed leather shirt and pants and that type of thing. And at one point during the dancing, she pressed her tits on him, and he was like, hell yeah.
Uh-huh.
Then she told him, quote, why don't you come into the office on Thursday and get an eye exam, and we'll get to know each other a little better.
Oh, boy.
So he said, fuck yeah. He also knew that Thursdays were when Sharon would go to the office to do some office work and leave him behind, and he would do shit at home with the kids. So there's no eye exams on Thursdays, from him anyway. But she's going to be looking at something.
With that one eye.
You'll definitely look at we're going to take a look at that snake and make sure. So Gary said he planned to go. He was intrigued about it, and on Thursday, he showed up excited, and Sharon was sitting at her desk. She had like a tight outfit on and all this type of shit, and she was like, he said, yep, that's right. So they ended up getting down here in the office.
Yep.
They started a fucking. Gary says, quote, I thought she was going to give me a big hug, and she gave me a kiss, and that's when she really started rubbing her crotch on my leg. The quotes from him are amazing, Jimmy. It gets better. At first, her arms were around my back. Then she went down to my butt and just pulled me in tighter to her and said, quote, why don't you get us a motel room? That's what she whispered to him. He said not even a chat, no small talk. He said he called up the Trinidad Best Western around 5 and said, yep, here it is. Here's the room. And they got there, and she said, you should get one on the other side so people don't see our cars next time, but I'll still bang you in here. She said, do you have any protection? And he said, I had a vasectomy.
Right.
And she said, I don't know about that. She said, I got pregnant from Buzz, and he said he had a vasectomy.
Fooled me once.
I don't know about that. Yeah, I'm a fool me once. Shame on me. Then she said, I have to go to the bathroom. And then when she came out, apparently she had decided what to do because she was just wearing a black bra and panties and all that sort of thing. And he noticed she had no tan lines at all. She'd been.
Yeah.
He said it was like a Playboy centerfold fell into his lap. That's what he said. Problem was, his dick was as limp as the page of a Playboy centerfold. Just limp as a piece of paper. Not holding a charge, let's call it. I think that's a new way to put. I've never heard your dick being limp as not holding a charge, but I'm going to say that from now on.
Like a bad battery.
What's the matter, buddy? Not holding a charge or what? What are we doing here? So, yeah, it sucks. So...
It's an iPhone 4.
And she tried. I got a BlackBerry charger and an iPhone 4. They don't go together. She tried. Is jerking him and blowing him, and she put on like a fucking show for him, and she did the whole deal. And God damn it, it's just not happening down there. He said never happened before in his entire adult life. Doesn't know what's going on, but just poof. He told somebody later, quote, she was trying to get me aroused. I just couldn't do it. Right then, it should have been a warning, saying my body knows more than my brain. It's not right.
Right.
So they hugged and they kissed and they jerked and they poked and they fucking rubbed and they did all this type of shit. And he said he was embarrassed. And she said, oh, that's okay. It doesn't matter. She said, we'll get together again and bang. It's been fun anyway. So, it's all good. So then a couple weeks later, Jesus fucking Christ, this is amazing. So Gary just can't have it happen. A couple weeks later, Gary said that they went to. He said that he was hooked on her and he needed her again. So a couple weeks later, they try again, doesn't work again. Okay,
Two in a row.
2 in a row. He's having a hard time here. So Perry's trying to save his business and everything like that. Dr. Perry, she's banging Gary Adams. And, trying to bang him anyway. They're cuddling. This happened like 3-4 times this happened here. Wow. One Thursday, she said, I'd like to be with you, but I don't have any money, he said to her. And she said, that's okay, I'll pay. You paid last time. Yeah. And he didn't want to take her money, but it's $30. I mean, it's a gross motel in New Mexico. Who gives a shit? So, again, nothing worked though. Nothing worked. She said she didn't mind. She says, quote, Perry doesn't hug me or kiss me like you do. We don't have sex either. So she's like, at least I'm getting something. Finally, they go one afternoon in the spring of 1983 to Trinidad Lake. And they spread out an Indian blanket out of view in the midst of just all the scenery and the lake and the everything else. And that's at that point, it came to life, Jimmy.
Yeah, it's roaring.
The mountain gods and the outdoor air.
Yeah,
they're not. When they show you a Coors commercial, those streams they're not bullshitting. That water does a lot for you.
Yeah, sex.
You're hard as a rock. So it was beautiful, and they got on just a fucking. But Gary said. He said that he didn't think he really pleased her, though. That's all. He didn't feel like he pleased her. And she said, oh, I loved it. And she said, he's like, no, you didn't, and all that sort of shit. And,
hated it.
He said that over time, he said, it was hard. He figured out how to satisfy her over time, though. She needs to fuck in a certain way.
Right.
And he told a friend of his, quote, a lot of times she has to grab a man's dick and actually move it herself and position it and move it and rub it the way she wants it. And once I found out, I was able to do it real easy with her. She just had to be in control, I guess.
So you don't fuck her, she fucks her.
She uses your dick as a dildo, and then you're there. But he's like, and that's the thing about guys. We don't care. We don't even care. We're like, great. In the end, I'm going to fuck it. It's fine. It's fine. You know what I mean?
I don't know.
It's going to work out.
Don't we care?
I mean, we'd like it to be a little better than that, but if we're happy if they're happy, though. No, that's not great sex, but
that's insane.
If they're doing something to get themselves off, we're never like, hey, this isn't cool for me. We're like, It doesn't matter if it hurts. It doesn't matter if there's like a cramp coming in our. We're like, we'll hold it off as long as it takes. We don't care.
You need, yeah.
We're trying
Except
to.
for that.
That's what I mean.
That's
Well,
the line, I think.
Position it and move it, and I don't know.
whatever it takes. I'm in. I'm trying everything except that.
I'll try whatever once. I don't know. Maybe it's great. I don't know. Maybe she really works it like a fucking 18-wheeler shifter, though. We have no idea, Jimmy. She might be. This might be satisfactory.
It might.
You gotta try it once, Jimmy. Look at her driver's license. You think she doesn't know what she's doing?
You're right.
Come on. The court system of Colorado says differently.
Getting her to come is like having Liu Kang do a bicycle kick. Like she's got to do some crazy shit to get it done.
Yeah, she's got a certain TV show has to be on. There's a lot to be said here.
Too much.
So it's a lot. Anyway, that's Gary, though. Gary loved going down on Sharon. That was his favorite thing in the world. He told a friend, Jesus Christ, and I quote, this could only be a quote, "She tasted so good. I always called it her special sauce."
Oh, my God. You dirtbag.
That's a guy who lives in a ramshackle trailer at the bottom of Cougar Ridge. That's a guy who says, "I just love her special sauce, buddy. I can't get enough of it." Then he goes on. That's not enough of it. That's not enough.
Jesus.
I always called it her special sauce. She'd get real wet, and it was almost like an addicting drug. Once I had it with her, I just had to have it.
Yikes.
Wow.
What the fuck, man?
Wow. That is embarrassing for him. The fact that he called it her special sauce and to a person who then had told another person who put it in print. That is wild. That is an embarrassing thing to say. I called it her special sauce. Ew. Why'd you do that? Why'd you call it that?
This isn't fucking Raising Cane's, sir.
Yeah.
That's gross.
This is disgusting. Not a Big Mac. What are you talking about? So they keep fucking and fucking all over the place. Motels by the lake, over here, at her house when Perry's not there. You name it, they're banging all over town. Finally, Sharon tells Gary that Perry is becoming suspicious. And then she also says, and it's really bad because everything's getting worse now that he's suspecting something, because he's always abusive, but now he's really abusive. He slaps me. He beats up the children. He beats them, knocks them around. And then she showed him a bruise and said Perry did this on one of his drunken tirades. She said, "I'm afraid of him." And Gary was like, "Oh, Jesus, that's terrible. Jeez, I can't. That's amazing." He said, he wanted to protect her, and he said, quote, "Have you ever thought of him having an accident?"
Oh, God.
And she said, "Yeah, I thought of getting rid of him for years." That's what she said. She said, "But he doesn't have much insurance on him." Well, if he beats you, then the insurance really doesn't matter. I mean, he said, "Well, think about it and see what you want to do about it." And anyway, at this point, Perry has lost his office. He rents some space in a chiropractor's office for $35 a month, but he still struggles. It's all sorts of these fucking problems here. Then finally, on one of the fuck dates, Sharon tells Gary, "Listen, we have to get rid of Perry. Dr. Perry is, this is terrible here. I told, at one point, he even tried to kill me." That's what she said. She said, quote, "They got, I'm sorry. Yeah. So Sharon, I'm sorry. This is another thing that happens here. Gary then says, they'd made a mild attempt at murder here. Okay. Yeah. Gary said that they, quote, got Perry real drunk and pushed him in a pool. And what Sharon thought they were drowning, and they went in the house and they just left him floating in the water. And then a few minutes later, he came to the door and couldn't remember what happened and thought he fell in.
Soaking wet furious.
Yeah, he was like, "What the hell happened? I woke up in a pool." So that's interesting. So Sharon said that, it needs to be done right. She said, I want him out of my life. I want to be free. I want to be free. And then Craig is like, I have that tape. So June 1983, Gary Adams and a friend are at a rest stop. They're in the cab of Gary's truck, smoking and talking about Sharon's been abused and beaten up by her husband. And this is ridiculous. So Perry's car comes by. They're waiting on Perry. This is the end of it. They're gonna do something. Gary and his friend got in the truck and they drive to catch up. Perry sees him, smiles and waves. "Hey, how you doing? Come on, follow me. Let's hang out, buddy."
Yeah.
So they pull up in a tavern, and they have a few beers together.
Perry has no idea.
No, no idea. After a few rounds, they decide, let's go to the strip club outside Denver.
Yeah, all right. Yeah.
So they get in the car to go to the strip club.
It's a long ride.
Oh, yeah, fuck it. Who cares? While Gary and Perry went to the bathroom, this is when Gary said to his friend, put some of the drugs in his beer when I go to the bathroom. You spock his beer. And then when we walk outside, we'll walk him out, we'll finish him off. He'll be all drugged up. So back at the table, Perry drinks, and after like 2 sips, he puts the glass down and he says, that tastes gross. It's real flat tasting, nasty. Yeah. And says, here, get another beer. Take this one away. It tastes flat. I don't know.
Skunk it. Yeah.
Something wrong with it. So Perry didn't drink anymore then, and problem is he didn't get real sloppy either. So they just hung out at a strip club, drank more beer.
Shit.
And Gary and Perry decided to split a motel room at that point.
They're too drunk to drive home.
Yeah. So the next morning, the two of them and their friend there Gary's friend had breakfast at a cafe in Golden and chatted and had a good old time. And Perry said, see you guys later. And they went, bye, Perry. And he said, bye, Gary and Gary's friend. And they drove away. And that's what happened. There was nothing.
This is a great night.
Yeah. Now, Sharon sent Gary out to kill her husband.
Right.
So she's like, all right, this is awesome. Sent him out the night before. Perry never came home. So she's like, fucking done and done, right?
Did it.
Next morning, key in the lock. Here comes Perry. Hi, honey, I'm home.
Good morning.
Huh? She's like, what the fuck happened here? So she was very mad at Gary for that and disappointed. Yeah. A short time later, Gary told Perry that he's going to buy some guns at a bargain. A guy selling a bunch of guns. It's a bargain. So Perry said, well, sure, I'll take a bargain gun. Why not? Let's do it. So one night when his wife wasn't going to be home, Gary told Perry that he could, pick me up at my house and we'll go get these guns. So, they talked as they drove to get the guns. Perry was talking, and he's talking all about Sharon and all this terrible shit that's happened in the marriage. And Gary starts to question Sharon's stories at this point.
Yeah.
He said that the doctor seemed like a genuinely nice guy. He said, I can't imagine this guy doing the things that Sharon's claiming he's doing. Yeah. And he's like, is she fucking lying to me? Is that W does that all, what the fuck? Is there an L next to the W? What's going on? So they arrived in Pueblo. They stopped at a Burger King. And Perry also had to stop at a local Pearl Vision place to say hi to a friend. And they approach Clear Creek, which is a rocky canyon full of water.
Yep.
Gary says, pull over, Perry. I got to take a piss. All right, pull on over here, would you? So, what ends up happening here is they get out and they like I said, stop to take a piss, and they're doing that. And what he tells, Gary had told his friend, by the way, earlier in the day, he told a friend and said, pick me up at midnight at the first tunnel past Golden. Mm-hmm. Sounds suspicious. So the friend said, okay. And they, like I said, they've been hanging out drinking around midnight. They pull over. He's got an old VW is what the doctor's driving, what they're driving in. Like a bug, yeah. And Perry didn't like driving in the rain either. So that was as they're going. They pull over. They pull into a parking strip next to the Clear Creek to get some sleep. And he says, I got to take a leak. And he says, yeah, well, maybe we'll nap for a minute. So Perry says, okay. And he's trying to get the car seat to go back so he could, fucking get a couple of blinks here, winks, whatever. So Gary didn't have a tire iron on him. So Gary went down to the water's edge to look for a rock. And it was dark, and all the rocks seemed too big to carry back up there. So finally he found one he can lift, and he went back, and he saw where it was and memorized the path to it. And he said, hey, Perry, woke him up. He said, I've dropped my goddamn wallet while I was taking a piss. Fuck, I can't find it. Will you help me look for it down here? Fucking son of a bitch. So Perry went, yeah, sure. He grabbed a flashlight. And they go down, and it had rained. The fucking banks are surging. It's supposed to be a creek, but it is like it's raging at this point. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's rocky, too. Yeah, this is if you've been on a rapids ride at a theme park, this is what it's based on. So the beam of the flashlight's going through. You can see everything, and but they're looking around. Perry can't find the wallet. He goes, I can't see shit. I don't know what the fuck, man. He's looking down. I don't see anything. So Gary is about a 15-pound rock. And he comes up behind him and smashes Perry in the head with this rock.
Oh, my God. That's how he does it?
Well, he said he used all his might, and he said, though, he didn't know that a human skull was so tough because Perry fell to his hands and knees, like down into the water, and blood started pouring down, but he jumped back up again.
Yeah.
And Gary said he couldn't believe it. He said, what the fuck? He didn't get knocked out? What's going on here? So Gary pushed Perry back down and tried to hold his head underwater.
Oh, my God.
So now they're fighting. And fucking Gary's trying to fight him, and Perry's fighting for his goddamn life. Perry's also doing okay because he's a lot bigger. He's a taller guy, and he's got some leverage on him, and he weighs more. He's got more leverage. Gary's a smaller guy. And so Gary is trying to put all his weight on top of him, and they're fighting, and all of this shit. He said that just when he thought he had got him and thought he was like knocked out or drowned or something, he said he let go of him, and Perry popped right the fuck back out of the water. Gary said, quote, like a freaking horror movie. That's how Gary described it. At one point, Gary slipped, and this water's fucking ice cold, too.
Yeah.
Gary slipped. It's waist-high water, and he said, holy shit, he got scared that he was going to get taken away by the current. So he said that the fighting had taken them, going into the creek more, into a more dangerous territory. He said all of a sudden they were fighting, and out of nowhere, they were just about to like attack each other again in the water, and Perry just started going the other direction. The current got him and took him downstream. Whew, gone.
With a bloody head.
With a bloody head just going downstream.
No.
Now, if you go to kill somebody, this is great if that kills him, but what if he doesn't get killed? Now you can't catch up to him to kill him. He's going down what are you supposed to do? Run up the bank next to him? Hold on, you son of a bitch. I'll get you when you fucking land. Like, you better hope he hits his head on a fucking another rock or something. You're in deep shit. So Gary gets behind the wheel of the VW. He drives it a half mile away. And when it hit about 20 miles an hour, he jumped out of the moving car while he was driving. The car went into the creek with its headlights still on.
Oh, not bad. That's a good plan.
And floated. He was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, they don't.
Fucking Volkswagens float.
The bottom of that is just a flat pan.
Yeah.
That thing, water doesn't go in there.
He didn't realize that. He goes, God damn it. So Gary said, I knew that. What was I thinking? Why'd I do that?
Bubble of air. What are you doing, Gary?
So he's like, shit. He goes, if a car comes by, they're going to see a fucking car with its headlights on in the water floating there. That's
running.
Not great. So he's like, shit. He goes and pushes the car and gets it back to he gets it out of the water somehow, too, which is fucking crazy because it's floating. I don't know if you can push it or what. So
a few miles from the glass spires of Midtown Atlanta lies the South River Forest. In 2021 and 2022, the woods became a home to activists from all over the country who gathered to stop the nearby construction of a massive new police training facility, nicknamed Cop City.
At approximately 9 o'clock this morning, as law enforcement was moving through various sectors of the property, an individual, without warning, shot a Georgia State Patrol trooper.
This is We Came to the Forest, a story about resistance.
The abolitionist mission isn't done until every prison is empty and shut down.
Love and fellowship.
It was probably the happiest I've ever been in my life.
And the lengths we'll go to protect the things we hold closest to our hearts. Follow We Came to the Forest on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus.
He was hip-hop's biggest mogul, the man who redefined fame, fortune, and the music industry.
The first male rapper to be honored on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, Sean Diddy Combs.
Diddy built an empire and lived a life most people only dream about.
Everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up.
But just as quickly as his empire rose, it came crashing down.
Today I'm announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment, charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, interstate transportation for prostitution.
I was up. I hit rock bottom, but I made no excuses. I'm disgusted. I'm so sorry.
Until you're wearing an orange jumpsuit, it's not real. Now it's real.
From his meteoric rise to his shocking fall from grace, from law and crime, this is the rise and fall of Diddy. Listen to the rise and fall of Diddy exclusively with Wondery Plus.
He gets home about 4 o'clock in the morning, Gary, after all this. It's a mess. He's tired. He's hurting.
Exhausted.
He said, I think Perry's dead. That's what he was saying to himself. But he said, if Perry's alive, I'm fucked because I certainly was trying to kill him. So at 9 a.m., he told his wife that he had to go up to the roundhouse because Perry owed him some money. So while he was there, he told Sharon, Perry ain't coming back.
Yeah,
we hope. Hopefully. We don't know. He's going to come home with like kelp on him and shit. Like, right. I lived with the wolves for 3 months and I learned some things, you know. They nursed me back to health. He's going to be like Nell. So they, friends got there to the house at one point, expecting to see Perry. And Sharon said, Perry didn't come home last night. We were expecting all these friends and he didn't come. I don't know what's going on with him and what's happening. And they said, oh, well, you live all the way out here in the country. What if he went off the road? He could be anywhere. They said, you should call Highway Patrol. And she did. And she's called Highway Patrol. And they said there were no accidents reported involving a black VW Beetle.
Right.
And I don't know. And her friends were like, I don't know either. So they all got drunk and worried.
Yeah, let's get drunk.
So on the Sunday morning, though, a man was jogging along Clear Creek and came across the mangled remains of a car, as the book puts it here. No windows, no license plate. Looked like it had been all sorts of fucked up, too, because it has been here. And he was like, wow, that's really weird. And the car ended up being Perry Nelson's car, obviously. So when that ended up coming back, Sharon went to the Trinidad Police Department wanting to file a missing persons report. He's missing, damn it. She asked for an officer to come to her house, but no one showed up. So she said she went there. And she said, this is why she went down there. She said, quote, I'm bananas by now. They're saying, calm down, calm down. We can call the doctor to give you something. Cheer up, bitch.
Yeah.
Your husband's dead. Immediately. We can just drug you. Shut up. That's what they did back then. Good God. And this was the 80s. I said, how can I calm down? You people don't even know what's going on here. You tell me someone's coming to my house. Nobody comes to my house. I don't sleep all night. I know I've got patients coming in. I know he's got patients coming in. I don't know where my husband is. Get my kids to the sitter, and I've got an office full of people that's going to be sitting there. She's yelling and screaming and all this type of shit. So next morning, they had a search party, the sheriff's department, the fire department. No one had seen, no one had heard. No one knows shit about anything. Nothing going on. They can't find her at all. They can't find Perry at all. Emergency rescuers told everybody that nothing was found in the car. The only thing remained in the car was a sleeping bag that was hooked to the passenger side mirror and dangled in the water, which could have belonged to somebody else. And they said that was kind of weird looking, but other than that, they couldn't really find anything. They said that the barricade or the barrier, for it to sustain that kind of damage, the car would have had to been going like 80 miles an hour.
Wow.
So he jumped out and went down a hill, sped up.
Moving.
He's moving. He said it was only 20 miles an hour, though, so I don't know. Sharon said that the VW had been painted 2 months before, and she said the paint hadn't had a chance to become baked on yet. Okay, that was part of her description. So they went to the Coors plant in Golden to make sure that Perry hadn't been basically, I guess there's a big screen that they have to keep debris from contaminating the water they use for Coors. So they wanted to make sure he wasn't caught in the Coors net.
Yeah, gross.
Oh, God. From there, they
drank Perry.
That's what they're saying. They backtracked. Jesus. They covered all sorts, 2 miles along the creek. They found little bits of the VW, pieces of the seat at one point, some maps. They were like, they didn't know what the fuck here. So Sharon said the searchers, don't give up. She said, he's here. We have to find him. They brought in an air, sea, and rescue unit of the Air Force. Yeah. This is a big deal here. They have, people with binoculars, and they have people going under the water looking for him. It's
full
fucking
search party. Yeah.
Full search party here. They find Ugats, dick, nothing. Don't find Perry at all. So they're like, what the fuck here? So Sharon goes, well, he's either dead or he left. I don't know. I'm selling the house. So that's that. She sells the house.
If he's not dead, you can't sell the house, right?
Well, no, but she's trying. That's part of the reason she's going to have to fight here. She put his practice up for sale as well. She said, the reason I put the practice up for sale so soon is it took over 2 years to find a buyer for the Rocky Ford practice, and I knew also that a practice without a doctor doesn't sell very well, and I want his practice to continue with a new doctor. And according to the president of Colorado Optometric Association, the sooner a practice is listed after death, the better a chance a doctor will be willing to take over. That's why. Wow. I looked in a pamphlet, and the president of this association told me this was a thing to do.
It's all business.
They had a plane with infrared equipment looking over the creek and all that. Didn't find shit. So they were like, so then all the rumors started going around. Maybe the VW was a plant and a setup, and he's buried somewhere out on their property. Maybe he's buried somewhere in the wilds of Colorado. It's the wilderness as far as the eye can see. So they were like, fuck, this is crazy. So a couple of dozen of Perry's friends go to look for him, including Sharon. They all go out looking for them, and they all say they feel so terrible for Sharon. This is just awful. Jesus Christ, all the friends, all the church people, all that sort of thing. So they said that everyone was serious, and she seemed a little too. She seemed like kind of happy, like they were out on going for like the bike ride. That was like the thing to do,
like a scavenger hunt.
Yeah, but they were like, who knows? I mean, people handle shit different ways, and so they talk about, they're trying to find him, and at one point, a search party found black paint on the left side of a guardrail.
What's that?
They're like, that's interesting. On a guardrail, there was some black paint smeared off.
Okay.
And she said, okay, well, that's something. So she said, they said, obviously it went out here. They said maybe it spun out of control. What the fuck? So the bulk of the group went ahead down to the stream here. And Sharon and Gary remained behind, though, going, oh, fuck, is he down there? They don't know. So they said, well, shit, everybody thought that something was going on between Gary and Sharon because they stayed behind. They couldn't find him. They went out and ate Pizza Hut. They went out to a sit-down Pizza Hut dinner, drove back to Trinidad.
Fun. Yeah.
Oh, my God. Gary and Shannon went up to the roundhouse and went to bed.
Oh, boy.
Jesus Christ.
He's going to bang her in Perry's house?
Yep. So all the rumors are going on and everything like that. Within 2 months of shacking up, Gary says that he can't stand Sharon anymore.
Yeah.
Says he can't live with her anymore. He told her that even though he loved her, he loved his wife too. He called Nancy. She agreed to work everything back, bring their son back to the ranch, and we'll all work it all out. It's all going to be fine. And Sharon said, that's fine. That's cool. You know what? I didn't think it was working out either because she said, quote, I love you too, but I'm moving in with Buzz.
Okay.
Buzz is back.
Yeah.
Didn't expect that, did you? Yeah. So, Buzz is back in, and Buzz has money. That's the main reason why in the end here. So August 14th, 1984, she's living with Buzz. She's still fucking Gary on the side, though.
Oh, boy.
With the kids and all this type of shit.
Yeah, because she owes him so much. She's embedded with that guy forever now. We've killed together.
She can't piss him off. Yeah.
Right.
This is 13 months after Perry went missing. Gary, Sharon, and the kids are driving into Trinidad. And a cop car coming in the opposite direction makes a U-turn, sirens blaring, pulls them over. Yeah. Okay? So Gary's getting out going, I wasn't fucking speeding. What the hell? Yeah. The cop goes, I have to talk to Sharon away from the kids.
Yeah.
So they wave Sharon out there. She comes over here. And they said, we found something. 14 months later, they found Perry's body in the creek along a sandbar up near Golden.
Wow.
So this fucking thing traveled too, man. That water was moving.
14 months later.
I mean, it could have got caught it must have gotten caught on like a rock in the water or something like that, and like a calmer place because it was like remarkably well kept.
Really?
Yeah, because it's free. The water's freezing.
Right.
And there you go. So it was very preserved.
He went through winter, too.
Yeah, winter.
Holy
then
shit.
And we went through multiple seasons. Christ. He went through some seasons twice. Yeah. He was wearing the same clothing as she described that he left. He had left for an optical convention in Denver, and this is what happened. So now the body meant that she could get more money. Now she could get all the money. She could get anything she wants. The insurance company had been holding out on the $200,000 they had to pay up.
Yep.
Now they have to pay up. She didn't have to sue anyone to be able to sell the practice because he was legally declared dead. Mm-hmm. She, all this type of shit. Sharon and Gary were talking about how they were going to spend it all and live in it and all that sort of thing. He said his suggestion was, I'll take a third, you take a third, and you take a third for the kids.
Okay, Gary, don't tell me how to spend my money.
Yeah, well, because it's kind of like we'll split the insurance if you kill him, I think. So he didn't say, I'll take half, and then you and the kids get half. He said a third for the kids. That was nice. So the insurance money's rolling in. She's doing well. She had a fucking, she's buying all new furniture. She's doing all sorts of shit. Oh, by the way, she sort of married Buzz in this time period as well.
Yeah.
Her and Buzz went out in a field and exchanged their own vows. It wasn't a legal wedding, but meant a lot to them. Right. So, Jesus Christ.
Spiritual husband.
You know how that goes. So, but then at one point, though, Gary, she's sitting there and she seems unhappy and he says, "What's up, man? What's up with you?" And she says, "Buzz needs to have an accident."
Oh, no. What are you doing?
He said, "An accident? Like, no, an accident? She said, "Yeah, I think he should have an accident real soon." And Gary said, "Sharon, it's too soon. Yeah. You just killed a husband."
I just did that.
Jesus Christ. You're like a whore for murder, not for sex. This is a lot. So he was like, "Too soon, baby. It's only been a couple years since Perry, can't do that right now." So she was like, "I don't know. Maybe." She figured I'll work on it. I'll work on it a little bit. She said, quote, at one point she said, "It'd be real easy. All you have to do is hit him on the head and have him fall in a lake."
Yeah.
That's fine. Yeah, we did that already. He said, "That's stupid. It's greedy." He said, "Think about it, Sharon. You're married to two people. They're dead and water is connected. This is not good. Like, that's just common sense."
Yeah.
So she said, fine. Maybe drowning wouldn't be a good idea. Maybe when he's out delivering shit for his business. She said he drives around in the canyon. You could drive by and shoot him and make it look like a robbery. He said, "No, come on." He said, "You aren't even legally married. You're not going to get his shit. What do you care?" And right. That kind of went away. Buzz ended up falling off through the wayside. And then early spring 1987, Sharon is trolling through the personal ads, which we do old-timey 80s personal ads on Patreon, patreon.com/crime and sports, and they're fucking hilarious. Yeah. They're the best thing ever.
We know exactly what she read.
She finds a fireman named Glenn Harrelson. He's a Denver fireman, and she calls him up from his ad. She digs him. He digs her a lot right away. His friends, though, didn't like her. She said that they said she would wedge herself between him and his friends, Glenn here, and she wants all his attention. That's all there is to it. So eventually, he was just kind of with her. He wasn't even hanging out with his friends anymore or doing anything like that. She said she didn't like her rental house. There's a barking dog next door. Glenn said, "You and the kids, you can move into my house. Come on in. It's a big house, nice yard for the kids, close to the eye doctor. It's all great. It's going to be wonderful there." So Glenn told his friends he was the happiest man in the world. He loved it. He doesn't care that it happened so fast. This is meant to be. Finally, this is so great. Then Glenn found out that Sharon had another boyfriend.
Uh-oh.
And he was like, fuck, never mind. But then he told his friends, "I'm not giving up. I'm going to win her. I'm going to win her heart. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to ask her to marry me. She can't fuck other people if we're married." Duh. So his friends were like, "What are you, stupid?" And he was like, "I sure am." And on June 2nd, 1988, they got married again. So, yeah, she's married again. And right before they get married, Glenn took her to the insurance office and came in to put Sharon down as his beneficiary.
Yeah.
So after a little while, the relationship is not working out. She wanted to stay in the roundhouse, and he was a Denver fireman. He needed to live by Denver. She said, "I will not raise my kids in a city. They will be raised in a small town."
Only in the country.
As we know, that works out well all the time.
I will not move to the city. I like these two boys who make a murder podcast about small towns only.
Only. By the way, she's still fucking Gary on the side. Did I mention that as well?
She has to. Forever.
Yeah. Things are going well for Gary and his family. Everything's going well. But Gary said he just wanted to, he told a friend of his, "I just need to taste that secret sauce."
Oh, God,
That's what he told a friend of his. Oh, God damn it.
There's a reason why some small barbecue joints thrive, James. They got special sauce.
You don't know what's in it, but damn it, is it good. Keeps you coming back. So they end up running into each other is how they got rekindled. They ran into each other and started making out immediately in front of the children and everything. They didn't care. She said, "I miss you so much, and I'm also married."
Yeah.
And he said, but, he couldn't stay away. Couldn't stay away.
Yourself with my dick.
Couldn't do it. So, one day, Gary comes up to the house there, the roundhouse. He knew Sharon was grading the driveway, and he said he's going to go up there to see if he could lend a little help. That's all. So Sharon was driving the four-wheel drive. She had like a like a grader that she was pulling along there, pulling behind her to make it less bumpy here. So Sharon, though, he was fucking into her, so that's how they got fucking again. By the way, can't get it up again this time.
Oh, no.
He blames it on inside. There's a framed picture of Perry on the wall because it's some of the kids' dads. So he says, it's the fucking picture on the wall. Take it off the wall. And he got all mad and stomped out. That's why my dick don't work, because Perry's staring at me.
I can't do it while he looks at me.
Either way, he went back in and went down on her, though. That happened. And I'm not even kidding. That's what happened that day. So she saw him as like, this is right from the book, by the way. Quote, in Sharon's eyes, Gary Adams was the last of a breed, a mountain man, a cattle rustler, a renegade, and he was the greatest, most tender lover she'd ever known. He was the type to steal a neighbor's beef cattle, butcher it with a chainsaw, and throw a couple of steaks on the grill for a romantic dinner for two. While he's covered in viscera. Ain't this romantic? Hey, you have some brain on your... Here, get it off your hat there. There we go. Now it's more romantic. That's the craziest thing I ever heard. You don't use a chainsaw, correct?
No,
that's not the way you do that. I think you use like a bandsaw and like a... It's like wood, but not a chainsaw. So... So she said that she'd been married to a preacher, a doctor, and a fireman, but her heart belonged to the cowboy. She's fucked the entire village people at this point. I swear to God. This is insane. So
the butcher, the baker, and the candlestick maker, too.
All of them. They're in there somewhere. November 15th, 1988, Glenn mentions, her husband, that she believes that someone's been breaking into his home.
Yeah.
She said he didn't want to report it to the police, but she said it also appeared that whoever was breaking in must have a key, because they're not like no forced entry, but someone's in there. I don't know what's going on. Well, there's a plot against Glenn. That's why. And Sharon tells Gary, I want it done before Thanksgiving. Glenn's mother's coming from Des Moines, and I don't want to spend the holiday with her. I can't stand her.
Would you kill him? I hate her.
Kill him quickly, because I hate that mother. So she drew out a map. It's in Thornton is where he lives.
Yeah, north of Denver.
Yep, he draws out a map. She draws out a map, puts a small slip of paper, telling him he should park in the King Soopers parking lot or at the adjacent Safeway.
Yeah.
She said also there's an area of new construction not far away, so you could maybe drive to there and kind of park in there and sneak in. She said, though, I need you to do something, though, so I know he's gone. I need you to bring me his wedding ring. Now it's a mob thing.
Yeah.
Now it's a mob. Like, bring me Joey's finger. I want to know that he's dead. Like, you know what I mean?
Put his tongue in his ass.
Put his tongue in his ass, cut it off, and then bring it to me. That's what I need. I need to see that. So she said that he doesn't wear it very often. And, he said, well, give me a key, and I'll fucking do it. So eventually... And he was the one harassing her. Give me the key. Let me get this over with. Let's do it. So she finally said, here's the goddamn key. Get out of my face, is what it was. She said. So she said he didn't know. She didn't know if he was going to do it or not. I would. He killed your other husband. Jesus
Why
Christ.
wouldn't you know?
So Glenn wouldn't, basically, in order for Gary to cover up and not see this, he's got to park his car somewhere else. So he's going to park on this construction site. Then he's like, but how do I cover this up? Last time we threw him in the water, and that's a way to cover it up because, the water messed up the time of death. It looks like he hit his head on the rocks, but this isn't a fucking house. How do I kill him in a house and get rid of it? He goes, well, there's two elements. We got water and we got fire. What about fire? Water in the water, fire on the land. What do you think there? That's a good way to cover it up. So he's like, yeah, we could do that. So he takes the map and all this type of shit, and he gets the key, and he's ready. It's 8:30 at night. He's ready to go here. So he stands outside the guy's house here, Glenn's house, and he says it was a hard place to find, but he finally gets it. He gets in, and on the dresser, he sees the wedding band, just like Sharon said. He picks it up, puts it in his pocket. Okay, I have my trinket. And it was 8:45 p.m. She said he's home no longer than 9. She said he's so predictable you could set your watch by him. So Gary, ends up sitting in the living room, and he's got a lead pipe sitting there, and he just sits in a recliner in his living room and waits for Glenn. Mm-hmm. Glenn comes home, and Gary raises the lead pipe up and whacks Glenn in the head.
Mm-hmm.
Glenn goes down, but same way that Perry went down. Went down on his hands and knees, got back up, and now he's trying to fight.
God damn it, Gary. You're so weak.
In a movie, you hit somebody once and they go out. In real life, you need to hit them like 20 fucking times. They're fighting for their life. They don't just go out like that. Right. So they're fighting, and he's like, holy shit. So Gary hit him once more with the pipe. It doesn't put him out again. He's like, fuck, I thought this would knock him out. Glenn grabs Gary's arm and forces him to the floor, flipping Gary on his back. Right. So this is a fucking mess. So now they're fighting, and the whole thing's a disaster. Glenn's fighting for his life. Now Gary is got to fight for his life because all this shit. Glenn kicked Gary's leg and knee when they got up again. So Gary's like hurting. So eventually, though, he says, fuck this, and reaches into his pants and pulls out his gun, which he had took as a just in case. He didn't want it to be loud for the neighbors, but he said just in case. So he shot him twice instead. And that ended it very quickly. Bang, bang. Glenn goes down. Show's over at that point. Not our show, but Glenn's show at least.
Right.
So he was like, fuck, this is not the way he wanted it to happen. There's no way to make this look like an accidental death now. Can't make it look like he fell down and hit his head.
Right. Bullets
I don't know.
Away and fire.
He's like, okay, got to be a botched burglary now. That's what it has to be. So he got a pile of clothes in the room to try to make it look like it's ransacked. Right. And we've talked about this before. Investigators know when something is ransacked or when something is made to look ransacked. Like they can tell the difference. If you were just throwing a couple things over to make it look bad, they know what you've done. So he did that. Sharon told him that there's the grates over the basement windows could be removed. So he went downstairs, and one of them was loose. So he moved a chair up to the window and got up and pulled the grate off. So it looked like somebody
came in the basement. Yeah.
Came in that way. He's like, okay. He's like, there's a lot of noise coming from the house. That's not good. He said he went to the back upstairs bedroom and took a jar of coins from the closet and just scattered the contents around the house.
Yeah.
There's coins everywhere. Must have been a robbery. I see change all over. Someone must have just been really just like a roll of nickels that exploded. That was just he's half man, half nickels. So he does all of that. Then he goes to the garage where Sharon said that Glenn keeps a gas can. He returns and he steps over Glenn's body and douses the area with gasoline. He says he was about to light a match, and he's like, hold on, this is going to go up like a fireball with me standing in here. That's not good, so I can't throw that down. So instead, he lights up a cigarette, places it inside a book of matches. Everybody's seen that trick in a movie. So it'll burn down, light the matches eventually. So he does that, places that. He goes, this will give me like 4 or 5 minutes to get away. Perfect. So he's gone. He rushes out. He's sitting in his truck. He's waiting for sirens to come. He says, once there's sirens, I know I got a boogie. 10 minutes pass, no sirens. 15 minutes pass, no sirens. He's like, did the cigarette go out? Did I not puff on it enough?
Yeah.
Shit. God damn it. He gets out of his truck and walks all the way back over there, went into the open garage and cracks the door open. He said when he cracked the door open, it was a curtain of black smoke. It was completely filled with black smoke. Yeah. So he shut the door again, and they found footprints that were 18 inches deep running up. Running all around and all that kind of shit. So he trudged back up from his place and did all of that. He drives back down. He thinks it's over with. It's a little after 4 a.m. He shows up to see Sharon, and he said, it's done. She said, are you sure he's dead? And he goes, everything didn't exactly go according to plan. I'll be honest with you. To be real honest, it wasn't smooth. I'll say that. This was not like a mob hit at all. Yeah, she said, well, it looks like you're in one piece. And he went, well, yeah, that's true. He goes, I got some bumps and bruises. It didn't quite work out like I wanted it to. He goes, but here's the wedding ring. I did get that.
Got your ring.
And she was like, okay. So now she believed that he was there at least. She said, are you sure he was dead before you started the fire? This guy's not good at murder, by the way.
All right.
Part of murder is, you dead? Okay. That's the whole thing, really. You got to kill the person for it to be murder, and he's not good at that.
One of the worst ever.
Really bad. And he said, yes, there was smoke coming from the windows. I didn't see any flame, but I wasn't going back in. So he would have died from smoke inhalation at least, even if he was alive. So he gave her back the key and the map. She put the key back on the key ring, threw the map into the fireplace, and that was that. Mm-hmm. Firemen arrive. They know Glenn because he's a fireman.
That's their buddy.
So they're like, his house. They think he's gone, okay? The reports came in that the house had been burning while the owner was gone because it's all dark inside and shit. So anyway, they suspect arson. Obviously, they see that there's an isolated, basically an area off to the garage. That's where you enter the house. They come in and they see the pour patterns around an open pit in the floorboards, indicating the accelerant had more than likely been used there. So that's arson, not an accident. They walk the residence, the perimeter, just so people know. People are interested in that kind of shit here. It's a brick ranch house. They said it was very neatly landscaped. It's all very nice. They see that one of these security grates has been removed from a window in the basement, as we know, obviously. And they said that they knew that it wasn't removed by them, because they asked around, did you do that? No. Okay. So they have a flashlight. They're looking all around. 3-car garage, 2 vehicles parked in there. They had a nice old Camaro that he had restored. He had a pickup truck, doing his thing. So they said, where's Glenn? Anybody know where he is? And, we know this house. This is crazy. It's a fireman's house and it's burning. This is the definition of irony, people. So, anyway, they're searching through the house. They couldn't find any reason he was home. It's a lot of smoke and it's black and all the bed was made. His clothes were hung and all this type of shit. Like they said, they don't understand it here. He's not scheduled for duty till 6:30 the next morning at the fire department. So they saw a bunch of coins. And when they see the coins, they go, maybe a young officer says, maybe a burglary, because they saw the coins. And then someone who'd done this more than 6 months goes, no, that's not how you rob a place.
Usually you take that.
He said, beside the coins, nothing's been disturbed. There's a pile of clothes and a bunch of coins, but there's no drawers rifled. There's no one's actually looking for anything here. They said no one had taken the firearms neatly arranged on a shelf. That'd be the first thing you take, because you can sell those for cash.
Weapons are still there.
A whole shelf full of weapons here.
Wow.
Yeah, this is a guy's he's got guns. It's Colorado, so in the middle of nowhere. They said the coffee maker, smoke detector, television, everything plastic had been melted by the heat as well. Everything is there. They said the chair over to the window, that's probably the point of entry. But then they said, oh, no, it's not the point of entry because there's still spider webs on the other side of the window intact.
Yeah, that's the thing about Colorado.
So no one came in there. Yeah, right. You got to wipe up. If you're going to fake going in and out of a window, you can't have dust sitting on it for 6 months. That's not good. So they said no one came in and out of here. They said whoever came in through a door. There's burglar alarms, window grates, panic buttons for emergency release. It had to be with a key or an invitation. Mm-hmm. Said who would he invite over? So they were talking about it. Who would they invite? Who would he invite? Maybe somebody burned it. Maybe somebody was watching the house and burned it by accident. They're trying to figure out what the hell happened. And then finally, as they're moving their flashlights around, one of them says, hey, there's something down there. And they look and they see a twisted, burned, charred figure, melted carpet bunched up in a pile with something inside of it. And he says, oh, we've got a homicide, and that's what they did. They decide that his head is fully intact, okay? Everything else is burned, and they said the skull didn't explode, which if the skull didn't explode, that meant there's a hole in it. So that meant that he probably had a gunshot wound in their head. That's what the criminologist said. It's probably, or criminalist said it's a gunshot wound probably, otherwise heads explode 95% of the time in a fire. Wow. Yeah. So, they said that this is probably Glenn. They ended up finding 2 shell casings picked up, one by the TV set, one closer to the door. They processed the crime scene. They said it looks like an ambush. Killer was probably lying in wait when he came in the house. It was probably over pretty quickly. Shot him in the head twice, doused him in gasoline, lit this bitch up, scattered the coins, and took the fuck off, which is exactly what he did. They figured it out.
Right now.
He's bad at murder. So yeah, they do all of that, and at that point they have to go make the notification, right. And they were like, "Wow, this is crazy. Her other husband died too, twice a widow, suspicious deaths." And one of the detectives said, "Wouldn't it be weird if we cleared both of them?"
Wouldn't it be crazy?
So they ask around and they find out that, holy shit, there's a lot of people talking shit about Sharon and all of the things she does and all the people she fucks. Everybody they talk to, they will tell the detectives 5 more people that she fucked that they didn't know previously. But not for like, this is who she's banging. Like, she fucked my husband and she fucked this person's husband and she broke up this marriage and shit like that. A lot of mean-spirited shit, basically. A lot of mean-spirited bullshit and a lot of women talking about, maybe the guys, or a lot of the guys, maybe the ones who didn't get to bang her, talking about, I hear she's a skank and she's this and she's that. The detectives come to talk to her, okay, at the house here. They have, obviously, they Glenn's dead. They have to tell her all of that and everything like that. She said, do you know anybody who could have been mad at him? You know, that sort of thing. Or, you know, anything like that? And she said, no, can't imagine. I mean, Jesus Christ, what do you think? Out of everyone you know, she said, who would be the most likely to kill your husband? And she said, I can't even think anything. That's crazy.
I guess me.
I mean, that's so weird. Yeah, I don't understand it. I can't even imagine who could kill him. Meanwhile, they said that's really weird because investigators say usually an innocent person can conjure up a short list of people who may have killed. Even, you know what? He got in a fucking argument with that one guy, and I don't know if, like, he said the guy was at the deli the last time he saw him, so I don't know. Something. You dig through shit. Yeah. And I was just watching an interrogation the other night of a guy whose wife was murdered. And turns out she was doing a lot of drugs and she was a confidential informant and didn't even tell him about it. So,
oh, shit.
Yeah, he didn't know about it. So he was real fucking upset about the whole thing. And they were like, do you know who might have killed your wife? And he's like, there's one she used to get drugs with. I drove one time to the corner. I saw him. He was a shorter guy. I couldn't pick him out of a lineup, but if you go there, he's a short guy. He was wearing a red thing like that. And then there's this other guy too. I picked her up at like he had a list of people that were far-fetched but possible. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Because he's trying to help. She goes, I can't think of a damn soul.
I got nobody.
Guilty people go, no one would ever want to hurt. I can't imagine who would want to do this. This is terrible. Usually there's someone they got in an argument with, something you can pull out of your ass. So she said, listen, guys, I mean, thanks for coming over to the house and everything, but I have funeral arrangements to make, and, I'll come down there tomorrow and talk to you. And thanks for coming over, though, she said.
Appreciate you being here.
Thanks a lot. They were like, okay. When they walked out, the one detective looked to the other and said, quote, she killed him or had him killed, right? And the guy goes, the other one, Elaine Tigert, said, quote, she's guilty as shit. She's guilty as shit. And they said, she knows more. This is ridiculous. So anyway, they get back to their motel room in town, and it was the sheriff's department calling with a name that they should check into. Gary Starr Adams. Maybe look at that guy. It was not Sharon never mentioned his name in the interview once. And the sheriff saying that this man was a key individual in her life, and everyone in town said that. It's well known. She said, quote, there's another thing. Right after her doctor and her doctor husband disappeared, Adams was living with Mrs. Nelson and driving a brand new pickup truck.
Weird.
Suspicious. So they were like, oh, boy, interesting. They said nobody came forward with information that could prove Dr. Nelson was murdered by Sharon or Gary, but lots of people thought so. So they sit her down, and they're treating her like a grieving widow at this point when they sit her down. So they said, they're talking, they said, how could this be? They're talking about Glenn's. And she said she's going to set the record straight right then and there. She said, now I've lost a husband, my second husband, and what in the hell are you doing? Why don't you go look for this person rather than talking to me? The kids are waiting in an outside room. And anyway, she's very upset. She's acting very indignant about why don't you look for him? And they said, listen, okay, Sharon, before we get started, I just want to let you know that you're here of your own free will, okay? You understand you're not under arrest or anything like that. She says, yes, absolutely. So they talk about her personal background. She talks about all this type of shit. She went to Adventist schools and everything like that. She said she was a young bride when she married Reverend Fuller, and it gives the whole deal. So they said, did you have a relationship before Perry, before you guys got divorced? And she said, no, I was separated. Yes, which is bullshit.
Yeah.
They said, what year did you meet him? She said, 76, 77. That wasn't true. They said, when were you divorced from Mike? 76. They said, when were you married to Perry? 77. Also not true. They said, within a year's time? And she said, 77. Yeah, more like within a week's time. So, yeah, she was trying to change the subject here. By the way, it still never mentions Gary at any point. They said, did Glenn have any extramarital affairs? And she said, no. They said, what about you? And she said, no, absolutely not. She said, is there anyone that could, other than people that might have misconstrued a relationship going on with you, or like anybody from the outside who might think that? Mm-hmm. She said, no, absolutely not. They said, anyone that would appear to be extra friendly or just a little more fond than normal? And she said, no, not at all. She said, outside of her son-in-law, Bart Mason, she said, there's no one who helped out with chores at the house or maintenance while Glenn was gone. She said, I do have visitors from time to time, male visitors. That's true. She said, there's a guy named, I think Gary is his name, Gary Adams. He lives down the hill. Yeah. He comes up once in a while, that sort of thing. They said, did your relationship with him ever go beyond just a friendship? And they said that she acted indignant. She said she had only strayed once, a fling that took place when she came back to the mountains after breaking up with Glenn, but that was before their marriage, and she also mentioned a brief love affair with a guy named Harry Russell, but that happened after Perry died and before she met Glenn. So I don't like your insinuation, is what she said. I don't like what you're getting at here. You're poking at the wrong shit here. So no mention of Gary, though, there. None at all.
Not a word.
None. So she said that they said that could have been the end of the interview. I don't know anything. Can I go now? And they would have said, well, I guess, sure.
Right.
Instead, she kept talking for another 2 hours.
What?
She kept talking. She became visibly upset. She's just talking. Yeah. At one point, they said, Sharon, there's something you're not saying. Uh-huh. I've been listening to you talk, and I don't know the reasons, but you're not telling us the truth. She said, well, I can't imagine what you mean. Whatever could you mean?
Yeah.
What? And they said, Sharon, you got to tell us the truth. And she said, they said, and the most important thing in your life now is finding out who killed Glenn Harrelson. Okay, Sharon, you're covering up for someone, aren't you? Okay, you don't need to be a part of that. You didn't kill your husband. And she said, no, I didn't. And they said, but you know who did. You absolutely do. You don't need the kind of trouble that can cause you. Come on. They're like, Sharon. And quote, and it's going to prey on your mind, and it's going to get worse, and it's going to get worse, and for your children's sake. And so they can get on with their lives, and so that you can get on with your life, you need to tell us everything that you know. And you're not doing that right now. And they said that she just kind of started crying. Tears started coming down her face, and she started sobbing, and she started saying that she knows something, and how she knows what happened maybe, but she's not any part of it. She's been a victim too.
Right.
And they said, what can you tell us, Sharon? And she didn't respond. And they said, were the kids getting in the way? And she didn't answer. And they said, your relationship with Glenn? She said, no. She said she and Glenn were happy. His mother and his coworkers could vouch for that he didn't complain about me. And they said, look, Sharon, I've been looking at you, and you've been doing this for a real long time. You're a troubled woman. It says whore on your license. And she said, yes, I am. And they said, you're absolutely about to fall apart at the seams, and I know why. What happened up there wasn't supposed to happen that way, and I don't know what happened, okay? And that's what we're trying to find out. And they said, it's not going to go away. It's not going to change. It's only going to get worse. Tell us what you know. It's obvious you're scared of something. We'll protect you. We'll put you in a hotel room and guard you if necessary. Tell us what you know. And she said, she looked around real suspiciously and said, I will, but not here. These walls have ears.
What does that mean?
It's the police interrogation room. This is the place to if you're going to talk to cops about a murder, this is the place you do it.
Yeah,
they said if she's willing to talk, they'll take her anywhere. So they said, then we'll go. Let's go then.
Yeah.
She said, sure, let's get your kids. She said, I got to get my kids. And there you go. She said, we'll go. The cop said, we'll go and get them from your daughter's place, and we'll go. No one said another word. They were driving and driving and driving. And they said they're driving around Trinidad, no idea where they're going. They stopped to pick up her kids, and she said, get on the highway. And she was like, okay. At one point, the cops both took their guns out and put them on their lap because they're like, is she taking us into a fucking ambush?
Right.
What is she doing? They don't know where she's going, but they don't want to call her on her shit because they want her to talk. So the kids are asking what's going on, and she says, we'll see when you get there, like smiling, like everything's fine. So anyway, they get all the way there, and at one point they said, are we just going to drive to Denver, or are you going to want to stop? Can we drive to Denver? We can drive to Denver if that's what you need to feel safe. And she shook her head. She said, no, just continue a little bit further to Walsenburg, Colorado.
Uh-huh.
What's there? Quote, I know of a Pizza Hut where we can talk privately. What the fuck are you talking
have
about?
A chat over a meat lovers. Let's go.
What are you talking about? She's like, they have the buffet there. It's so good. There's the only place in Colorado where you can have a private conversation is a Pizza Hut in Walsenburg, Colorado, or Walsenburg, whatever the fuck it is. So
they make the best breadsticks, James.
Yeah, it's terrific. We have to go there. So she said, what? They said, what the fuck? In for a penny, in for a pound. Let's go to Pizza Hut.
Let's do it.
We'll get the kids a couple of, personal pans and we'll get on with this shit. So they gave the kids a bunch of quarters and told them to play arcade games because they had games there. So they were like, yeah, whatever, that's fine. So then she said, quote, it all started a long time ago. Once upon a time, she talked about how they had financial obligations with Perry and tax problems and no marriage is easy, but no one with money problems. She goes into this whole thing. The whole Pizza Hut deal. She said that, by the way, she also said, I like this Pizza Hut because I used to come here with Gary because it's out of town. Yeah. And a couple times I just joke, for the thrill, I do dine and dash in here. She said one time, though, the kid who worked here caught me and I had to come in and pay the bill. I was like, you fucking, this is what I mean. She's just looking for life. She's looking to feel alive.
Go back to the scene of the crime.
Crazy. She said, quote, then she said, let's talk about Gary, her accomplice. She said, quote, he rode with Perry from Trinidad to Denver, and I don't know. I still don't know whether he killed Perry first and then pushed the car in the river or what happened. I really don't know. She said there'd been some insurance money, and she figured the police would consider money part of the motive. So they asked her for more details, and she said, they said, now people make mistakes, Sharon, and sometimes we make really big ones. This is while children are eating pizza, by the way.
Right.
But when you're a good person like that, I have a large Supreme and a small meatloaf. Oh, yeah, just put them on the table. Okay, thanks. Wait for the waitress to walk. Okay, so, but when you're a good person like we know you are, it comes to light, obviously. And so she says what happens. Yeah, he killed for me, and it was, I didn't know he was going to do it, and, blah, 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 blah. And then the Pizza Hut starts, it's like 4 o'clock. People start showing up at Pizza Hut to eat. So they're like, God damn it. So they go get a room at the Best Western next door. And she's like, oh, it's just like a tour of being with Gary. So
my 2 days that are entirely different, yet so the same.
She said he was everything that she dreamed about in her teenage years when she was going to Adventist schools and all this shit. She said she wanted a bad boy, and he was it. She said, quote, ruggedness, a wild side, totally out of every boundary I'd ever known, not religious, black hair, blue eyes, ice blue eyes, survivalist, protector. I thought military, macho, guns. I'd never experienced this side of life before. I'd never been around anyone like this before. I didn't know people like this existed. I thought, I wonder what this side of life is like. It's like living in a trailer and having your husband killed. That's what it's like.
But your pussy gets eaten a lot.
Eaten a lot because he's got a limp dick, so he has to figure out how to really do that a lot. So Jesus Christ, man, he's like, yeah, that's what she's telling. She tells him all about it. She said that, she gave up the whole thing. Yeah. They said that the only thing missing was the house. How the fuck did he get in the house? And she goes, oh, because I have the key to the house right here. It's on my key ring. You never asked.
What do you got? What do you guys, investigators or something? You have a bunch of idiots?
Oh man. So then they go, well, okay. They walk over to the kids. One of them is 19 years old.
Yeah.
And they walk up to her and they go, you need to make arrangements. Your mom told us she had a part in Glenn and Perry's deaths, so you should take the kids somewhere else. So, yeah, that's how that ended up happening. So the cops arrest Gary. It's 1:30 p.m. Dogs won't stop barking. He's like, what the fuck is going on out here? Shut the fuck up. And he's like, oh. And there's
hey, guys.
a bunch of cops there. And they're like, hey, Gar, how's it going? Yeah. What's up, buddy? And he's like, he gave it up pretty quick. He said he agreed to plead guilty to 2 counts of first-degree murder right away because he heard that Sharon's going to testify against him otherwise.
You got the secret sauce? Oh, boy.
Fuck, God damn it, Jesus Christ. Can I just sniff the chair when she's done testifying? That's all I want. So this fucking idiot, he's such a moron, this guy. He told a jailhouse snitch the only thing that was missing was the gun, and he told a snitch where he hid the gun. So they ended up finding the gun under the porch steps at the ranch there. Ballistics matched up. Her whole story goes that way. And so anyway, he says, though, that Sharon continues to wonder if Gary ever loved her enough to divorce Nancy, she said later on. And he says he still loved Sharon and remained, he said he would talk all about it because he loved Sharon. He didn't even care. That's how he puts it. So anyway, they go to court here for Dr. Perry first, okay? He pleads guilty in both cases, and now she has to plead guilty. So she pleads guilty to first-degree murder of her husband here.
Wow.
They're going to try these cases separately, the two different murders, so they're not stacking them. And the judge says, you, ma'am, may fuck off, life in prison with no parole for 20 years.
Okay.
So 20 to life, but no parole for 20, though. Hard 20. So then she goes for Glenn, okay? She pleads guilty in Adams County for that one, to first-degree murder. And they say, you, ma'am, may fuck off, another life sentence, no parole for 40 years. Have that. 40 years.
Hard
so
40 there, hard 20 there. Are they
concurrent?
Yeah.
Concurrent, but either way, no parole till your mid-80s, sweetheart.
Right.
And by the way, we'll talk about this, but that's the way that goes. And they sentence Gary to life as well. So he's done as also. Gary is pretty fucked here. He's fucked. Especially after he tells goddamn jailhouse informants what he's done and shit like that. So he's in there for life as well. He's got pretty much the same thing she has, the hard 40. So 1991, the Nelson children, including Danny and Misty, file a claim against the insurance companies that paid off Sharon. So as more information came out, it looks like the insurance investigators were suspicious of Sharon Nelson, but they didn't really say much, and they ended up not informing the police what they had uncovered, and they just gave her money.
Wow.
Yeah, they found out that, Jesus Christ, that Perry had not left Trinidad alone the night he disappeared, that Sharon had purchased 5 of 6 policies within 6 weeks of the murder. She bought 5 new policies. And they were like, that's nothing the cops need to know about, right? Are you fucking kidding me? Gary moved in days after the disappearance. They didn't even know he was dead. Just a disappearance. She sold off as many of her husband's belongings and assets as she could. I mean, all that kind of shit here. So the Denver police said, this isn't a case of 20/20 hindsight piecing a murder together 6 years later. This is, So
several weeks later.
She collected all this money, and now she's refusing to testify in this lawsuit filed by the children. These are her fucking children. Wow.
You've been there for 40 years. What does it matter
do you
at
care?
this point?
Yeah, and she said both convictions are being appealed, so she's not going to, participate in this.
She's holding out hope she'll get out.
His children are suing the insurance companies for $400,000 paid to Sharon, and anyway, so Sharon ends up appealing her case, okay? Her argument lies most heavily on her fear of Gary Adams. She said that she said that she was so afraid of Gary that she was scared to stand trial because she was afraid that Gary would have her killed while she was on trial.
Okay.
So she couldn't stand trial. She claimed that Gary conveyed a threat to her in prison when a food server in the prison cafeteria passed his thumb across his throat as if slicing it and said, you know who that's from.
Okay.
And he said that Gary also told her that before they were arrested, if I ever go down on this, you're going down with me. So if you're going to testify against me, you're going down. So anyway, they said that he said that he had strong motivation. She said he had strong motivation to get me and all that. So that's an appeal that she has. That she got forced into pleading guilty because she was afraid of Gary. The court found that the evidence presented was more consistent with the conclusion that she had changed her mind about the wisdom of pleading guilty than with the conclusion that the plea was involuntary. That's what they said. They said that, first of all, they didn't seek the death penalty against her, and she knew this when she pleaded guilty. In the plea hearing, the judge asked her, do you understand that if you enter a plea of guilty, you're subjecting yourself to a lifetime term of imprisonment? And she said, yes, I do. Yeah. Thus, she claimed she pleaded guilty out of fear of the death penalty is not credible, because she also said that. They said also if she had, pleaded guilty to avoid such a penalty, such a decision is considered voluntary and it's considered your strategy. You want to die or go to prison? Which one? So, you're up on murder charges. You got a lot of hard fucking choices here. So she also said, as her fear of facing a murder trial, in her appeal, she suggested the stress she was under at the time she pled guilty was so great it coerced her into pleading guilty. They said the possibility of facing a murder trial undoubtedly creates stress. This stress is by its nature coercive and likely to make a defendant consider the option of pleading guilty rather than enduring a painful trial. Such coercion, however, does not necessarily render a plea involuntary. No, it's called life and why people do shit. Wow. So her last two arguments rely on her alleged fear for herself and her children at the hands of Gary Adams. She said that he was going to, she implicated him and then he was going to have her children killed and her killed and all this type of shit. So that's what she said. So they said because of the majority of Ms. Nelson's proffered evidence in support of her motion to change the plea came from her own testimony, her credibility is a factor we consider because this is all shit that she said. Right. I was scared because he told me he'd kill me. Well, you didn't tell anyone else that. So, this is just shit you're saying that's also very self-serving to you. So they said, based on factual findings of the state court and our own review of the record, we find Ms. Nelson's guilty plea was entered knowingly and voluntarily and affirm the judgment, and she can fuck right off. So currently, she's born in 1945, so she would be 77 years old at this point. I cannot find her in this other site that was talking about her. No one can find her in any prison system.
Really?
And she'd definitely still be in prison because her 40 isn't up yet. So she probably died in prison is what we can imagine. She was like a 2.5 pack a day smoker back in her younger days. So that was up through her 40s. So, I mean, who knows? Who knows what happened to her? So either way, she's probably dead. We're not sure. And I found if you're in the Cincinnati metropolitan area and you're looking for a nurse, I guess, an RN, IRB ethics regulatory compliance expertise, you should hire Sharon Lynn Nelson because if you search for this murderer, she's who comes up. So this poor lady, I feel bad for. She went to the University of Cincinnati. Hire her. I think she'll be wonderful for you.
Yeah.
She'll be fantastic for what you're doing. So anyway, that is Trinidad, Colorado.
Shit.
And one crazy fucking thing. If in a marriage, at the end of it, one of you is legally declared dead and the other's legally declared a whore, it's not a good marriage, right? That's the moral of this story, I feel like.
Was it secret sauce or special sauce?
Secret sauce. Was it secret or special? Damn it, now I don't remember.
It's so gross.
I think it was special, like McDonald's. It wasn't secret, it was special.
I think it was secret.
Was it? It might have been. Oh, God, I'm grossed out by that.
I hate it so much.
It ain't good, man. So that is that. That is disgusting. And if you like the show and you want to taste the secret sauce, I suppose, tell the world about it. Get on app. Tell everyone on whatever app you're listening to. Give us 5 stars and say they have the best secret sauce in the podcasting industry. I want to see all those comments. That would be hilarious. Please do the best.
Them and their secret sauce.
whatever your comment is, just put secret sauce in there. So everyone who reads them would be like, why is everyone saying secret sauce? This is so weird. I just want that. So please, listeners, do that.
Cleverly get secret sauce all over iTunes.
Do it. These guys just have there's a secret sauce to what they do, and I don't know what it is. Whatever. Find different ways to do it, but you can do whatever app you're listening on. So 5 stars and do that. Thank you. Follow us on social media. We are at Murder Small on Twitter, at SmallTownPod on Facebook, at SmallTownMurder on Instagram. Head over to shutupandgivememurder.com. Get everything, your merchandise. There's tons of new stuff up there, all sorts of cool shit. In addition to tickets to live shows, the 2 we really want you to look at, New Orleans, July 15th. Go there because we're going. It's really hot. Make sure this place is full, and we're going to have a good time. And then in September? In September, we are at the Pabst in Milwaukee. Let's sell this bad boy out. Yeah. Don't let Chicago punk you. Chicago and Boston are our biggest shows at this point that we've had, and Minneapolis. Don't you want to beat Chicago and Minneapolis? Jesus Christ. You're beating the Packers or the Bears and the Vikings. Isn't that great? And the Patriots, because you're going to beat Boston too. If you guys sell this out, this will be our biggest show that we've ever had, and we will tell everyone from now on who asks, because people always ask, what's the biggest crowd you ever had? Fucking Milwaukee, because they kick ass. That's what we're going to say.
Sold out the Pabst. It's crazy.
And it's a different show than we're going to do in Chicago too. Right. We promise that. So
and thank you guys
that we
for
did in Chicago.
Such a rad audience. You guys are the best, and I love seeing you guys on the road. So come to Milwaukee and come to New Orleans, and we will see you there.
And come to all the different places as well. And listen to Crime and Sports as well. If you have not listened to Crime and Sports yet, try it this week because it's Chris Benoit, and we know you know what he did. We find some weird stuff in there. So check that out. And patreon.com/Crime and Sports. Let's say you listen to Crime and Sports. Let's say you listen to Small Town Murder. Let's say you listen to Small Town Murder Express every Friday.
Yeah.
And you need more.
You want more?
You still need more? Well, you need more. We got more. We got Patreon, patreon.com/Crime and Sports. Every other week, you are going to get 2 brand new shows. So you get about 4 shows a month, and they're good shit. We put on a hell of a Patreon show. This week, what you're going to get, by the way, you get the whole back catalog. There's over 100 episodes on there. There's a lot to hear. This week, what we're going to talk about is, and you get access to Crime and Sports and Small Town Murders bonus. You get it all.
Right.
So for Crime and Sports, we're going to talk about kind of an add-on to Chris Benoit. We're going to talk about an insane wrestler named Billy Jack Haynes, who did this long 2-hour-long interview all about a conspiracy theory about what actually happened at Chris Benoit's house. And it is bonkers, and it involves Vince McMahon. It's crazy. So we'll hear about that. And then on Small Town Murders bonus, we are going to talk about a terrible man. He was a high-ranking, I believe, Air Force officer, very high-ranking. Like, he flew the Queen.
Sure did.
He was the guy who flew the Queen over in Canada. Not their Queen, not Canada Queen. That's England, but she came to Canada because it's an English, whatever. Anyway, so he's a big shot, and he ended up being like the Canadian BTK killer. He did all sorts of terrible shit, breaking into women's houses, torturing them, holding them for days, and taking weird fucking pictures just like BTK, all sorts of weird shit. We'll touch on that, but what we're really going to talk about is the interrogation that broke him, because he went in like, I am king shit of fuck mountain, and in an hour and a half later, he was like, let me tell you where the bodies are. Where's a map? Like, it's crazy how you just broke a man like that. It's fucking amazing. We'll talk all about that. It's so cool. Patreon.com. It's a masterclass in interrogation. It really is.
From Patreon. I miss my mom.
Fuck. Patreon.com/Crime and Sports is where you get that. And as well, if you want to just donate on PayPal and also get your shout out, which is coming up in a second, you can do that. Go to PayPal and use our email address, crimeandsports@gmail.com. You'll still get your shout out. That says, Jimmy, hit me with the list of people who would never, ever, ever legally be declared whores. Jimmy, hit me with them now.
This week's executive producers are Brianna Vandemark, Rabinowitz. It's a law firm, James.
Yes.
Seymour Schmuckstein, Jordan Bennett.
Is that all in the family? Rabinowitz?
Maybe, I don't know.
Get me old man Rabinowitz. Why? He's the most Jewish. That's the joke.
There's a lot of
all
them.
in the family. I think that's the thing.
Maybe.
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Adam Hill, thank you, buddy. He donated twice, rather large. Appreciate you, Adam. Carol Braun, still around. Thank you, Carol. Appreciate you sticking with us, and always a pleasure to see your name. Peyton Meadows, Maud Findlay, Erwin Lopez. Erwin is a big Avs fan, and I don't know if you know, James, they just won the Stanley Cup this a couple weeks ago. Congratulations, Avs. Yeah.
They fucked it up before they were even off the ice.
Yeah.
They messed it up.
Dropped the damn cup. Put a giant dent in the fucking thing. Did you see the bottom
Fucked it all up.
cave right?
Oh, yeah. They got to fix that shit every year, though. You know they got a cup guy.
It's pretty awesome. Happy Hour checking in Butler, PA. The Whore in 2R is around. Brittany,
Rossi.
Brittany Voyette. Frank, the South African birdwasher. Janice Hill. Molly Wazlowski, happy birthday.
Happy
Casey Handel, happy birthday. And also Peter Stone. Happy birthday
to all of you.
More producers are Lauren Souza, Eric Conley, Jessica Jones, Gideon Townsend, Lisa Wright, Gage Kaufman, that's Barbara Babsey, Daryl Morissette, Alanis' kid, Clan McCauley, Dan Dreon, Nicole Dempsey, Megan McLaughlin. McKagan McLaughlin, Kelsey Van Horn, Aaron Ford, Jedi Guy, Pickety Stitch, Life is so creative, like sewing. Do you get it? That's what it is.
So.
Ed Becker, Greta with no last name, Kevin Shook, Janice Ferguson, Aaron Cook, Haley, one of a billion Americans. Is there a billion? There's not a billion, right?
No, about a third of that.
Yeah, we're close, though.
Yeah.
Keep going.
330.
Deb Mayfield, Cleet Stone, Sarah and DB Barrett, Zane 015, Amy Eisenhunt, Libby Hodson, Fiona Lark, Terrence P, Frank Delatorre, Uncle Jeezy, Jenna Palmer, Sarah Pazik, DJ with no last name, Amy Holleran, Meg Mers, Bailey with no last name, Taylor Adamek, Christina Hively, Harley Dakota Norris in Louisiana, I believe. Candace with no last name. Chris Moore, CW with no last name. C and W, those are the first and last name initials.
Cool.
That's what it is. Angelina,
those things.
Angelina Colley, Keely Patton, Kurt Shitload of Dimes Smith, Jake Larson, Ryan Harrison.
Gonna have to go back and get a shitload of dimes. Sorry.
Johnny Leffler, Joshua Wilbur, Evan Jape, Craig Boggs. Oh, boy. Patrick Hennessy, Amanda Swift, Spencer Parker, Houston Crosley, Scott Bingen, Kara Klinglesmith, Shannon Hancock, Foster the Llama, Justin W., Katie, Molenhoff, Nick Hazeltine, Tasha
Nice
Vogt.
llama fans. That's nice.
Llamas are good animals.
Yeah, they're cool.
Liz Jones, Dory Dyer, Indigo, Aaron Barbie, Damian Lebec, MG Marzullo, Jan Bartholomew, Nancy Legos, Cassie Halliday, Aaron Bensall, Brian what is this? Bjorn Bonnie, Patty Tamble, Casey with no last name, Ayashuga, Ayo, I don't know, Brett Pigsley, Julia White, Marty Vorachuk, Jana Sweet, Cece Burns, Brianna with no last name, TJ Hughes, Cody with no last name, Sherry Ziegler, Kyle Jones, Jennifer Green, Simi Beebe, Gabby Sutton Vermeulen, Jack, Ochio Grosso, Andrea Elizabeth Karginen, Phaedra Corey, I think, Katie Conklin, Del Hayes, Cheer Up Bitch, I know that one, Kim Heshke, Sabrina Dunn, Mitchell Bollinger, Bobby Slingsby, Sam Mitchell, JC Ray. She's an RN. JC could be a dude. I don't know. I'm not going to assume. Martina Swaby,
thanks.
The Lindsay Chapone, Scott Bose, I think, Jane DeClerc, Patrick Carver, Hunter with no last name, Quinn Locke, Kelly Jordan, Michael Durr, Chris Ham, Noah Turnage, Natalie Stadelman, Mary Tim, Derek Levine, I think, Michelle Waff, Maria Dieter, Doll Mom Kimberly, Renzel, I think, Laura Scherbler, Schuber, Mary Claire Coyne, Jenna, the names are brutal. Jenna McGarahan, Avon McMurgan, Starvin Marvin 420, Michelle Higginbottom, Brian Allen, Amy with no last name, Brandon with no last name, Sarah Powell's, Joy Jolly, that's what, Obi-Wan, Josiah Braden, Alexandra Barbu, Candy Kinney, Ellen Smolensky, Hugh Cox, and all of our patrons. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you so much, everybody. So much. From the bottom of our hearts, we cannot thank you enough for all that you do for us and just everything. Thank you for your money. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your telling your friends. Thank you for all of it. We really do appreciate it. Yeah. If you want to find us on social media individually, very easy to do that. Go to shutupandgivememurder.com. Links all over that bitch over there. You can find us no problem, or just Google Small Town Murder Podcast Hosts. We're the only ones. So do that. Find us. Keep coming back each and every goddamn week. Oh, boy. And until next week, everybody, it's been our pleasure.
Bye.
If you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. I'm going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles,
a big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud,
sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.